Coming to you live from deep within a radioactive wasteland. We are the survivors of the alt-right Kek apocalypse. The few, the brave, the bitchy, once more wading into battle against the froggy, thoughty zombie hordes. With Roma versus Pearl. Who is the one good woman? Alternatively, epic sass battle. Alternatively, epic sauce battle.
No epic sauce bottle.
I don't think that Pearl has any sauce out there, but Roma might have sauce.
Yes.
So
epic.
Well, they're both sauce bottles. They're both walloping, trolloping sauce bottles.
What the hell does that even mean?
I don't know. I just heard it on an episode of Blackadder.
Sauce bottle. So that's some kind of like 19th century British insult.
No, for like basically two hot chicks.
Oh,
they're sauce bottles.
They're sauce. Oh, I get. Okay, I see now. All right.
I don't know.
Maybe. Maybe there's some clarity in that. Number 167. Is that correct?
Oh my god.
173.
173.
Alison.
She's
got oral dyslexia. Forgive
oral
her.
dyslexia.
Or Jonathan.
Yeah.
That sounds like someone's fetish.
No, it's like basically I think Alison is in a perpetual state of having a stroke and she's just got aphasia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad I've been diagnosed. I'm sure it's
the polar bears are ready to go on the swings. Also, I need the unspoiled so I can sleep.
Yeah.
I'm the one. Okay, I am completely freaking lost. Thank you, Karen.
There you go. See, that's what aphasia does.
I see. Okay, so after that demonstration of mental illness or physical incapacity or early onset dementia, shall we get into the topic? What, and we're just going to be looking at.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh shit, JoJo he's just making this really hard for me.
Really?
He is. Well,
What's
we
he
do
doing?
have a JoJo here. I thought he was gonna hang out with Lindsay. He'll probably leave and go hang out with her, but he's sitting here with me because I have cheese, and he's giving me the sad eyes Von give me food face. I'm not gonna do it.
All right. Well, I'll do my spiels.
Yeah, do your spiel. Sorry.
Okay,
JoJo.
and you can. Oh, did you want to do another poll since we had a successful?
Oh yeah.
poll?
Well, we will do some polls, but like maybe once this gets going, because I don't want people sort of like making a decision on this Pearl v Roma thing. I by the way, I knew this day would come. I knew. This day would come.
Oh yeah.
It was inevitable. It was inevitable. Like
100%.
Pearl has 1.6 million subscribers, and Roma has 1.56 million subscribers. So
this day, you were watching the clock.
I was looking at them. I was looking at them grow, and I was like, well, I mean, if it's not us, it might as well be like whoever would be the best representative, you know, at least until we get to the 1.6 million, you know, maybe another 10 years. Maybe
another 10 years of work. But you knew that it was going to be the moment that Pearl pulled out ahead, got a nose ahead. In the sauce battle,
on Piers Morgan, I think, gave her the boost.
Yeah,
but,
yeah.
Go ahead and do your spiel before we jump into that.
Yes, we are going to be talking about this. I know it's a little bit gossipy, I suppose, for this channel, but over the weekend I learned that a woman got cleared of rape in a case where she had physically forced or sexually forced her 2-year-old son to penetrate her. And she got cleared because the Ohio Supreme Court said that there is a difference between someone being forced to have sex and someone forcing another person to have sex.
Yeah, one is the perpetrator and the other is the victim.
Yes, but you see, the 2-year-old son was complicit or something.
Okay, so how did this penetration go down?
She forced herself. You know what? I don't even want to comprehend it, but I believe what happened.
Okay, like was this PIV or was this oral or?
This was. I'm pretty sure it was PIV.
Oh.
Yeah, anyway, so I was really sort of bummed out by the fact that apparently 2-year-old children can't be statutorily raped by women anymore.
That's a little...
It's a little dark. So I figure let's do something light, you know?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I was wondering, what does that have to do with this?
Yeah, let's not do, like, you know, let's do something that's more along the lines of an epic rap battle than a descent into the dark recesses of the human soul is what I'm getting at. Anyway, I'll do the spiel. Okay, so I have opened up the monthly fundraiser. It's at feedthebadger.com/support. I'm still finishing up the fundraiser to help me get the editing done on the captive eye. Last time I checked, we have $495 left on about 707. What is the freaking number? 7,500. So, less than $500 left on that fundraiser. That's at feedthebadger.com/I. It will be closing in the next 5 hours. I'm gonna give you a shout out to both, so you can choose whichever one you want to support for now. If I don't get the full amount for the captive eye, I'll probably just put it out later, early in August to finish it off, because I can have some of the balance on my credit card for a while. Not too long, because, it'll destroy my credit. But anyway, feedthebadger.com/I if you want to help support me publishing my story, The Captive Eye. For those you don't know, it's Alice in Wonderland meets Game of Thrones. Tagline is a fanatical assassin infiltrates Norse mythology to stop Ragnarok. If that sounds of interest, please help me out at feedthebadger.com/IEYE. And if you just want to help us out for the show, because yesterday we did a poll and at least 45% of you wanted to help out for the main monthly fundraiser. So now's your chance if you voted yes to that. So feedthebadger.com/support. There you go.
Okay.
And also one last thing, I always forget this. feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send us a message during the show if you want to comment on anything that we do. That's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. You get the benefit of not having to deal with YouTube censorship, a little bit more space to expand upon your very strange and cryptic thoughts, and we get the full benefit of the dosh, shall we say.
Mm-hmm.
So win-win-win. Maybe a lose for YouTube, but they get to hit us with the algorithm because we send you off the site. I think that's what it is, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
we
probably
send you off the site to our site, and YouTube's like, yeah, fuck you guys. They probably also don't like me using the word fuck either. So.
Language.
Well, fuck them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Girl.
Language.
All right. So let's get into the video. So we're not looking at, it says Pearl versus Roma versus Pearl, but this is actually just a Roma video. And Roma is responding to Pearl Davis's recent appearance on Piers Morgan. You guys probably saw that. I know Alison and I responded to it, but I don't know if Karen saw that.
Oh, I saw bits of it.
Yeah. And
she was just like, yeah, no, women shouldn't be able to vote and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. That's kind of what it came down to. And
he's freaking hardcore.
You know what? I am not mad. Mad. So
no, neither am I.
Roma saw that, and specifically that argument that women shouldn't get to vote if they're not gonna fight and die in wars like men, because that's really what Pearl's saying. She's not just like, I don't think women should have rights. And she got triggered because, well, we'll just see what she has to say. So this is a shortish video, 7 minutes, so that means it's gonna take us about 4 shows to get through.
Yeah,
but
probably.
We'll see how far we get in one. So this is Roma responding to Pearl's appearance on Piers Morgan.
She went on Piers Morgan and talked about how she doesn't think that women should have the right to vote. And, I reached out to her before Christmas on Instagram and was like, hey, I don't agree with all of your views, but at that time I thought that we were in the same corner, championing for men. However the fuck you say that. Anyways, I'm dealing with a lot of anxiety right now. I never got a response from her, and then after Christmas, a mutual friend agreed to reach out to her, and a couple months after that, I was on her YouTube and she was live, and I made a donation of about $300.
I'm pausing it there for the banana.
Okay, why would you say that though? Why would you be like, I made a donation of $300? Why would that be relevant. It's just money.
Why is she
right?
nervous?
She's super anxious because it gets all of the people that are her subscribers to come out and say, "OMG, I'm so sorry about your anxiety. It's so bad." That's literally what the comment section is. Oh my god, it's so hard to be a woman that advocates for men.
Yeah,
yeah, but what has she really suffered, really?
Yeah, no, it's like, okay, so she's basically like, I did this thing, I gave her like $300. And then I was like, I'm feeling like a lot of anxiety because like I was just trying to bring up a point about how women really should have the right to vote and how like her argument makes no sense whatsoever.
I don't think that at that point they were having a disagreement over this or a one-sided
No, she said at the time that she thought Pearl and her were like, you know, on the same page, basically.
Oh, but why? Yeah. Okay, why? How many times have I donated to Honey Badger Radio, Allison?
Not often. I don't want to say no because maybe you have. None?
Never. I have never donated to Honey Badger Radio. I never donated to Voice for Men. I never even donated to Earl Silverman's charity.
Okay.
Right? If I think that you're worthy of donations, I will go and say, hey, all my followers, go give Earl Silverman some money. Go show a Voice for Men some love. Go blah, blah, blah. I don't give money to anybody because that's like, it just feels squicky.
Okay, just my read on this is...
She was trying to bribe Pearly Things. Ooh.
To pay attention.
Ooh. Yeah, pay attention to me. Here's $300. And then she didn't even respond. It's no. This is why on my channel I don't solicit donations either, because it's like I'm just like I don't ask for money and I don't owe anybody an explanation for anything that I say, right? And that's just the way I operate, and it's just like but this whole idea of like buying favor, right? In terms of, you know, like if you're gonna donate, it's a donation. It's because you think that just Pearly Things is worthy of donating to, and you don't expect anything in return. Mm-hmm. You know, maybe like an autoresponder thank you or something like that. But
if it's a super chat, maybe you can expect her to read it.
Yeah, read it, respond to it, or something like that. But like, you know, honestly, it's just like
she sounds okay. Can I give my opinion on this? She sounds sort of desperate and pushy.
Well, you know, if she'd sent me $300 with some expectation, and then I didn't follow through on whatever the hell it was she was expecting, because I'm not a mind reader. And then she was just like, made a video and said, I sent her $300. Well, I'd be like, yeah, you can go fuck yourself, bitch.
Well, we haven't gotten
and I enjoyed that $300. Yeah, too bad.
You're a little bit more hardcore. If somebody said,
I am
message, if someone sent me a message, I would at least read and respond to it.
Oh, however, I respond to messages if they're interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, like if somebody sends me a message through Super Chat, like we respond to all of our messages. Usually they're either really intelligent, really on point, have something to say, because it's our audience, right? They're smart people.
Above average, yeah.
It was so esoteric. We just sit there and scratch our heads and wonder.
What
are you getting us to summon the elder gods with this? And usually they love just sending us stuff that makes us, that confuses the hell out of us. I think they like to watch us struggle a little.
Yeah, you know? No, and it's fine. Like, that's fine. But, you know, like for me, I just want to say what I want to say. And if somebody thinks that that's worth something, they can, you know, they pay me for services I've already rendered, basically.
Yes.
And it's like, yeah, no, it's, you don't get to buy my personal time. You know, like I have gotten caught up in conversations with viewers, right, who reached out to me via DM and, never sent me any money. And I've just been like, okay, well, this is an interesting thing, and this person has an interesting perspective, and I'll have a private conversation with them. Or, but then the moment that they say, and I sent you $25 and it took you 2 days to respond.
No, I got you.
Yeah, so I just avoid all that now, and it's just like, if you feel like my content that I put out publicly is worth something, go ahead and send me money. Don't expect, any kind of personalized response.
Yeah, that's understandable. I think my line is when they say things, and it's usually like, I have all of this, I'm filthy rich, and if you say what I want you to say, I'll be sure to support. I'm like, yeah, no, just go screw yourself.
You know what I had? I had this guy, came from South Africa. Okay. He was in North America on kind of like a 1 month trip. Okay. He owns like an estate and a vineyard in South Africa. And he emailed me, and it was kind of like this, it was a weird kind of email. He just reached out of the blue, and he was like, I'd like to meet up with you. I'm in North, and I'm like, who the fuck are you? Right. And, but I was just like, well, and he told me a bit of his story, and I thought, okay, well, if he's coming to Edmonton, he was like, meeting with like George Bush and like freaking bunch of people down in the States, and former President George Bush at the time, and he was going to come up through Edmonton. He was buying all kinds of artwork and stuff, right? And so I was like, well, if he's going to be in Edmonton, why not? So my husband and I go out for dinner with this guy, and he was very pleasant, very nice guy. All of this, he took us to this he took us to the lounge, the lobby lounge. We weren't dressed well enough to go into the restaurant at the hotel he was staying at. So he takes us to the lobby lounge for drinks, and then we walked to this like place where he spent like $1,800 on dinner for us, right? For the three of us. And we, had a chat, and, I've continued having email conversations with him and stuff. When he sends me an email, I'll respond, but he invited me. He said, I need you to write a book. I need you to write a book. I don't know. I can't do the South African accent. And I'm like, I don't know. And he says, tell you what, I fly you out to my vineyard. You stay in the guest house 2-3 months by yourself, write the book, right? I'll fly your family out at Christmas. We go hunting rhino. Take them on safari, right? And I'm like, what the fuck is this shit, right? It was just, the guy's made of money. And I was just like,
Is that Nigerian prince everybody keeps getting emails from? Is that the guy?
No, he's like a filthy rich white guy from South Africa. And, and like, I was, it's tempting, but like I had a 14-year-old at the time, right? And my husband is not my children's father. Right. And all my kids are living at home. And I'm just like, there's no way I can go away for 3 months, as tempting as it sounds. And, shooting rhinos sounds fun, but, as far as it goes.
Symbolically and literally.
Yeah. But, it's just like, no, like this is not going to convince me to write a book. Right.
Yeah,
like I have responsibilities at home, and it's just like, but like people who have money, they think that like they think that they just dangle a little money in front of you, or dangle a little luxury in front of you.
But let's see what she had to say. I mean, if it's a situation like she gave $300 and she just wanted her freaking super chat read, I'll have like a neutral amount of sympathy.
I don't think there was a super chat involved. I think she just gave a donation of $300. But I don't know.
Okay, yeah. Let's see what it was. Let us see.
Okay,
yes,
okay.
Let's try to get a little bit.
Just money ruins everything.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And not one single person noticed me in the chat. She didn't notice me. The chat didn't notice me. And so I looked it up and I'm like, what does that mean? It means that the person blocked you. So she blocked me long before you even had any contact.
Oh, that's interesting. She just knew she was blocked.
Sure? Are you sure they just didn't care?
Well, I mean,
is it possible that Pearl's audience does not care? Like, Pearl is going after, no offense, but she's going after a different tenor, I would imagine.
I don't know. I mean, I watch Pearl's content from time to time. I'm subscribed to her and to Roma because I like to watch what these people are doing. One time, so this is the thing. This is why I personally like Pearl, okay? Hate me if you want in the comments. I know that you guys love to, determine who's fit to talk about these things. But one of the reasons why I like her is because she had Elizabeth Hobson on. And if you guys don't like Elizabeth Hobson, you're probably subscribed to the wrong channel. And I was watching the live stream. No, I'm serious. Elizabeth has been doing this forever. Okay.
Yeah, for years and years. Yeah.
And she replaced Mike Buchanan for a little while. In the Justice for Men and Boys. Yeah, Justice for Men and Boys. So she was on Pearl's show, and I went there because I was going to try and get Elizabeth's attention, but I noticed that the chat, while you could donate, the chat was only accessible to members. So I wasn't able to post any comments.
Oh, she wasn't blocked. She just wasn't a member.
Right. That's what I think. But of course, she's gonna assume that she was blocked, I guess.
Because it's real.
Yeah, exactly.
Cat fight.
Yep. Saucer of milk, table 2. So.
That's
all right.
So she's assuming she's blocked, whereas probably more likely she's not a member. So Pearl isn't seeing her other people aren't seeing her comments. Well, why did you just take some amount of that $300 and get yourself a membership?
Perhaps, but let's see. Maybe that was never the intention, though. I mean, let's play a little bit more.
Now it makes sense because this woman isn't just a conservative. She's an absolute fucking misogynist, okay? Most conservatives don't think that their wives and their mothers and their sisters and their daughters just shouldn't have the right to vote, okay?
Okay, wait.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
an absolute misogynist?
But this is not what Pearly thinks, right? It's not what she thinks. She doesn't think that women shouldn't have the right to vote. She just thinks that women should pay the same civic duty or the same civic obligation that men do in order to vote. And she doesn't think that women would collectively want to pay that price. They would not want to be obligated that way, that if women had the choice, women collectively had the choice, pledge to serve your country and you get the vote, or be exempt from service to your country and you don't get the vote, well, women everywhere would basically be like, well, I'm not super happy with that, but I can tell my husband how to vote.
Yeah, exactly.
And my sons. And my father. My sons.
Yeah, that's usually how it went.
Yeah.
You think that men didn't incorporate the opinions of their partners? In fact, I think there was at one point
there used to be poster campaigns for candidates, okay? Poster campaigns. Ladies, tell your man to vote for so-and-so. You think back in the day, back in the late 1800s, early 1900s, they were wasting ink and paper on shit that didn't work?
Of course not. So yeah, and here's the thing, exactly, everybody's misrepresenting her argument. Okay, I have the same issue. I don't know how to resolve it. All right? We have a situation where we have a group of people who are expected to put skin in the game when it comes to protecting society. That
their
means
own
they give
skins in the game.
their own skin. That means they give up everything. They give up their future. They give their plans for their future. They give up any expectation of physical comfort and safety. And they could become literal property of the government. That's what GI means. Government issue. That means that if Roma had signed up and got some of those tattoos while she was a soldier, she would have been subject to physical punishment or field punishment for
court-martial,
for damaging government
property. Yeah.
Okay? You don't get to do shit to your body when you're a soldier because it's not your body. You lose rights to everything. Okay?
Even getting a bad sunburn can get you
Even
in
getting a
trouble.
bad sunburn can get you in trouble because you are now government property. Men sign
Except if you're a woman, because a woman can get out of deployment by just getting pregnant and she'll just get sent back stateside.
Yeah, and if that happened to a man, they would again punish him for making himself unfit for duty because you are not your own person anymore. You are government property. That's the situation that men have.
At the very least, dishonorably discharged.
That's the situation that men have. Okay? They have to become property of the state in order to get the vote.
And it doesn't matter, okay? Because everybody will say this, well, the draft hasn't happened since the Vietnam War and blah, blah, blah. No. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're a commodity on the shelf or a commodity on the frickin' table.
Nope.
Okay?
And also,
you're still a commodity.
They did do it in Ukraine not long ago. The men had to stay, so it's not like you can't just focus on America and say, oh, in the United States, XYZ. No, because we're not talking about men only in the United States. We're talking about men. Period.
Everywhere.
So in the Ukraine, boom, you all had to go. Think you're a trans woman? Not anymore. Here's your fucking canteen and your rifle or whatever it is they're giving out these days. Enjoy.
Okay. All right, let me make my conclusion here. So men have this obligation. And in the past, those who had that obligation of putting their bodies in the service of the state's interests, so becoming state property, had the right, or not even the right, the responsibility to decide on those issues that would lead either to peace or war. Because
this was like a fairly recent innovation, right? Because it used to be that, if you were like some freaking 18-year-old who lived with his parents, right? You were draftable, right? But you couldn't vote because you weren't 21 yet. And you couldn't vote because you didn't own property.
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't pay property taxes, so you weren't considered to have a say in all of those things. Right? So you could be male, you could be draftable, you could be inductable, right? You were government property, but you still did not have a say. The only reason that the voting age is 18 is because men are inductible at age 18. Men are draftable at age 18. And the U.S. got embarrassed because a bunch of young men, 18, 19, 20, right, were coming home with their limbs blown off and didn't have the fucking right to vote.
Okay, think about that, Roma. Think about it. Think about the fact, and this is the thing, if you look at the progression of franchisement, the ability to have a say in those external political realities that might lead you to being turned into government property, and we give the right to that say to the people who will be turned into government property. That's the only reason why that wasn't a horrendous and unspeakable kind of slavery. Do you realize that, Roma? Do you realize that?
And that only started, right? That trade-off only started with World War I. And even then, right, in the United States, you had to be 21.
No, you're incorrect. You're incorrect. I've actually looked at some of the stuff. Every single disenfranchised group of men had to serve their country. They had to sacrifice themselves in war before they were considered for the franchise. The first group was aristocrats. who had to, male aristocrats, they were franchised because they had some kind of say, because they were literally defending the borders of the country. They were putting their lives on the line to defend the peace and the safety of the people within the borders of their nation. Listen, and they were the first to get franchised. Then you see the small property owners who ended up serving as king's yeomen. They were the second to be enfranchised. Then let's go over to the States. When after black men served in the Civil War, they specifically referenced that service when they were requesting the franchise, and then they got franchised. Then the widespread reliable firearms made the average peasant a useful soldier. They went off and died. Men died in the millions in World War I, and then people were like, we should have franchised them. That's the situation for men. That's what Pearl is responding to, is talking about. And the fact that you are distorting this is a lie. And it's a pernicious lie.
Yeah, no, and even so, World War I, right? When basically all men were draftable, all men over 18 were draftable, all men over 21 got the vote.
Yes.
Not at 18.
And then the 18-year-olds eventually got the vote because they were draftable. That's the point. Every disenfranchised group of men has, before they were even considered for the vote, had to go and die, demonstrate their willingness to die for their country. And earn it. And then that is in terms of the entire group. So black men had to demonstrate that they were willing to die for their country before they got the vote. Okay? That doesn't mean the individual man has to go to war. It means black men as a group have to demonstrate, have to prove to the government that they are willing to subject themselves to literally a second kind of slavery before they get the vote.
Yep.
18-year-old men have to subject themselves to a second kind of slavery before they get the vote. Poor men subject themselves to a second kind of slavery before they get the vote. Men with minor amounts of property, same difference. Aristocratic men in the beginning, same difference. You got it by virtue of what?
Complaining.
You asked. Complaining. That's what Pearl is talking about. That differential is something that has never been addressed. And not just that. It doesn't just exist. Because I could almost tolerate it if society was like, well, we just think that women should have a say, and we think that the biological differences mean blah, 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 blah. That men still have to subject themselves to becoming property of the state if the state needs to dispose of its property in war. Okay? Maybe that would be okay if we were honest about it. If we were said, yes, women were granted a much better deal, a much better position, and women were held responsible for the influence of that latitude upon them, that I would understand it. But instead, what we have done is we have lied about this situation. We have distorted it. We have lied about history in regards to it, and we insist on saying that women not having the vote is evidence of a society that does not care about them and privileges men. This is a vicious lie.
Oh, it's horrible.
About society. This is a lie. It is a distortion, and it is an ugly one. And it's the source of a lot of the problems in our world today. A lot of the delusion that we're operating under, and eventually will undercut and destroy our society.
Yep.
This is why I said 3 years ago, we need to remember it's always men, or almost always men, dying in war. Definitely we need to remember it's men who are compelled to die in war and don't just volunteer for it. But that's Pearl's point. One, we need to recognize this fact, and we need to slap the oppression, the oppression narrative out of the mouths of women.
Yes.
Okay? We just need to slap it right out. And I mean that metaphorically, in Minecraft, okay? Not literally. But it needs to stop, because it's 100% wrong. And inaccurate. And that's one of the things that Pearl is talking about. Nobody lets her get a fucking word in edgewise. And also, the situation is vastly different for men versus women, which, again, ties into the fact that we lie to ourselves about it. That's what she's talking about. She has no clue how to solve this. Nobody does, because nobody with the necessary freaking expertise is looking at this honestly.
Yeah,
Like how the
nobody.
hell? I'm like nobody.
Yeah, nobody with the power to actually do anything
Yes.
about it. And
And we're not solving this. And what really blows my mind is when we've been doing a lot of Pearl lately. The first time she brought this argument up was with what's his face?
Ethan Klein.
Yeah. She was so
Ugh,
disingenuous because she's like, "Oh, you've identified a problem. Well, what's your complete and utterly vetted solution for solving this problem before I'll even acknowledge that there is a problem?" Like literally,
Yeah.
he's saying, "How do you solve the issue of suffrage, Pearl?" Well, okay, can you give her a break? Our society hasn't solved it in like 100 years, all right?
yeah.
Pearl is not going to solve it in a stupid, hostile interview with you. But she's pointing out that it exists.
Yeah.
And she
Yes.
even says, "I don't know how to solve it." Like, and people insist, are like, "Oh no, you have to be able to solve this problem." Pearl, you're gonna have to
before we'll even admit it's a
before
problem.
we'll even admit
Yeah.
that it's a problem. You have to give me the actionable plan, your solution, Pearl. Who have you talked to? What's your CV? What's your business plan, Pearl? It's like the problem exists whether or not Pearl can solve it. Okay.
So I just want to say before we get into, because I have some super chows and super chats to read through. Hello, what's up, Rumble Squad? Welcome, Rumble Gang. Say what's up. Okay, so please go over to Rumble if you guys haven't already, because we may end up there. And Rumble's blowing up. It's going to be the next YouTube, guys. I think so. I'm serious. So please go to Rumble and follow us there. It's HB Radio at Rumble. Pretty sure it's HB Radio. Anyway. So one thing I will say about this is that this is how I roll, okay? If somebody calls someone a misogynist, I immediately stop listening to whatever else they're going to say. Because you cannot claim to care about men and then point the finger at anyone that's not doing things the way you think they should be and then call them a misogynist. Don't even use the word misogynist. Don't use it. I won't listen. You're full of shit. End of story. So when Roma called her a misogynist, I was like, okay, I knew it, because she's done this before, you know, with other people. And with Blue Orange, he did the same thing too in a stream. And I said, I talked to him, I had him on, and I was like, don't do that. That's not useful. You are fueling the feminists that you claim to oppose. Every time you say misogynist, you give them power. So don't do it. You can make the case without doing that, is what I'm saying. Whatever case you want to make.
I don't even think we often use the word misandry.
Yeah, I don't even.
It's awkward as hell. You just call out the behaviors for what they are.
Yes, exactly,
okay?
exactly.
And
the terminology is not necessary.
The reason why you use the word misogynist is so you don't have to pinpoint the behavior. So you can just fart out a stink and let it linger all over the person.
Yep, it's like taking a shit. It's like taking a shit in the elevator and not taking responsibility. Just don't do it. If you do it, I'm just gonna call you a moron and I'm gonna move on. So anyway,
point out the behaviors.
Just want to say that.
And that holds for misogyny and misandry. Point out the behaviors.
For whatever the ism is, you just throw it out there, and I'm like, no, not useful. What are we talking about here?
Except for communism. The commies are always wrong.
Hey, they embrace that, dude. I'm calling out the behavior there too. But anyway, so let me do the super chows first. So Mr. 0303 gave us a super chow. He was first on the list, so I'm going to give him a jumping badger chant for that. And he says, Karen, $5. He says, Karen, do you have a cunning plan or at least a favorite episode of Blackadder?
Oh, I think it's the one where he says he definitely won't be saying Macbeth. Well, not very often.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're gonna feast on my delectable floppily doppelies.
All right. Go, Allison. What?
I have some thank yous to give. I just want to give you a
let me go through because I got a lot of super chows here. So, okay, I got another one From Anonymous for $5. They did not include a message, but I'll just go ahead and give you the Badger Chan anyways. Alright, and then I got another one from Plain Dane for $5. And they say, if we don't consider male genital mutilation a crime, it doesn't surprise me that we wouldn't consider forced environment rape. And then he follows up with $10 and says, sorry, meant to say forced envelopment. Yeah, it hasn't been considered rape. Well, it has yet to. I think it's sexual assault at worst. So, and thank you for. Oh, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, one of the things is it used to be considered statutory rape.
Okay, the next two are going to be a little bit complicated, Brian, because there's from two different people. The first one is probably from Plain Dane, and the second one is from...
weird.
Yeah, from...
Well, there's actually, I got like 1, 2, 3, 4 super chows. But...
Do you mind if I just do the next two?
Fine, go ahead.
Because I can probably... All right, I apologize, but I speak. It's only because I can see what's going on in the back room.
Yeah.
All right, this one is from Plain Dane, and he... you see, I'm covering all my bases with that, Dane. Gave us $10. Sorry, meant to say forced envelopment. All right, well, thank you for the $10 correction to your previous super chat. Okay. And I know who this is from. I'm pretty sure it's okay to say. Betty Adams says the third comment option, because we were talking about how we have two comments. We have the really smart, incisive comments, and then the ones where we're wondering if they're calling the elder gods.
Right.
So this is the third comment option. Neither smart nor esoteric, but shameless shilling. Flying Sparks, a science fantasy novel. Found family, shape-shifting aliens, and incompetent government bureaucracies meet in this book. Available for pre-order on Indiegogo and Kickstarter. I now know this is actually a good use of my advertising dollars because one backer name-dropped the Badgers in the comments. Also, one of the previous blank super chows was me because I forget how to use basic website stuff. All right, that's okay. So she probably did the anonymous donation as well. And I want to say I have actually read Dying Sparks. And I absolutely hate Betty because I spent like the last third of that book crying my eyes out.
Oh no!
It was very well written, and it was quite a harrowing read. So she's a very good writer.
Yeah, no, there's some books where it's like the last 80 pages are like, I just spend the whole time sobbing and I can't stop reading.
Yeah. So definitely take a look at Flying Sparks, because it most likely it's an excellent read as well, and may also turn your heart inside out. But okay, there you go, Brian. I just wanted to talk about because I just had a little bit more knowledge.
That's cool. Thanks for clarifying. Then I got two from Anonymous, so I don't know if they're the same person, but one says, our own skins, that's including foreskins. Who cares about your bodily autonomy and basic human rights? Fuck your rights. Your foreskin belongs to your mom, religion, society, and cosmetic companies. And then they give us $5 and says, Brian, you should have played a slapping sound effect, and then Sean Connery's quote about slapping women. I have to find that one. I used to have it. I did. I used to have that one, but I don't anymore. I do have this one from the Mummy.
We don't. They're led by a woman. What does a woman know?
So, if you guys seen the Mummy, you know that line. And then give us, and then there's another for $5 by itself. So thank you. Here's more jumping Badger Chan. So I'm not gonna play the sound this time. Okay, so that's all of the super chows. Wow, thanks guys, really great. And as far as let me look at Rumble to make sure I'm not missing anything. No, nothing there. I always give the Rumble people priority over the YouTube people. Albert Nader Retro gives us $2 Canadian and says, Pearl greater than the sign Roma, at least she isn't a covert feminist. I think Pearl's okay personally, but you know, what do I know? I'm just Brian. I'm nobody. And then he gives another what?
I said, "Aw, you're not nobody."
I'm only like trying to be a very fair judge of character and what people's content is. So Albert Nader Retro then gives us $2 Canadian and says neither of them are hot Karen. And then he gives another $2 Canadian and says none members can send super chats. I've done it. Yeah, but again, just to clarify, and again, I'm not siding with Roma here. I'm just pointing out she never claimed to be sending a super chat. She just said that she sent a donation, and that everyone knew she was in the chat, or her claim is that everybody knew, but no one, like Pearl, didn't notice. So that's not the same. Get it? I don't think she's a member, but I don't think she sent a super chat either. I think she just made a donation.
I have no idea, but
yeah. But then again, who knows?
You know why I like Pearl?
Why?
It's because she's willing to go on like BuzzFeed and like Piers Morgan and
Jubilee.
And say some fucking based shit.
Yeah.
Right? And she like she's literally honey badger, and like she doesn't.
And the thing is, I don't think
I think this, and I'm gonna say it.
Yeah.
And like I don't give a shit, and I know everybody's gonna disagree, but you know what? Still gonna say it.
That's right.
So
and, Yeah. No, I think
she's not necessarily right about everything, but
right. Well, I think that like sometimes you just gotta put something out there.
The fearlessness
and just get the conversation started. Like Pearl did that. She put the vote thing out there. She could have held back and said, "No, I don't want to take away that. I mean, women, they're human beings, like they should have rights."
Yeah, they
but
deserve,
no,
like
yeah,
blah,
like
blah, blah.
she didn't do that. She said, "Well, wait a minute. Like if I'm being like really like rational about this, and you guys care about fairness and equality." Well, this is a problem, and that's it. Like she doesn't have to have the answer. She just has to propose the question, and so that's what she did. So to me, that's something that like Roma would never do. That's something that most people would never do.
Yeah, so, no, I admire a woman with balls.
Mm-hmm.
And Pearlie's got balls. I think Roma, I don't know a whole lot about Roma. Maybe she's matured since I initially was introduced to her, which was, God, it had to have been years ago.
Yeah.
Right? 2-3 years ago. And I watched a couple of videos and I was like,
Yeah, I know.
Like there's nothing new here. There's nothing cutting edge here. She's just basically just regurgitating.
It's saying easy, obvious shit.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So that's my take, but again, hopefully
there's nothing innovative.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And the tattoos, and I don't actually if I were to be watching like a contortionist at Cirque du Soleil and she had those tattoos, I'd be like, yeah, no, that's. But part of me is just like, why would you spend all that money?
Maybe it's not her money she spent. But anyway, let's keep going. All right.
Wait, I don't know.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Thank yous. All right, so I want to thank Not Faber for $50 to the Captive Eye.
Thank you.
Not Faber.
Thank you very much. That's really nice. Thank you.
And Jamie Van for $50 towards the Captive Eye. So thank you, Jamie Van.
Ooh.
And
my spoon is too big.
And also to thank you to Jamie Van for $50 towards the monthly fundraiser. So Jamie Van took the third option.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And he's the one who's cracked it. Like he's the first supporter.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. So if you guys want to help out, I have 395 left on the 7,500. I know it was really expensive, but I think this particular editor is worth it. She's very thorough. She absolutely obliterated my first chapter.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Thank you, Karen. Yes.
No. I'm not, because I haven't read your most recent first chapter, but it's like, you want an honest editor.
Yeah. She definitely doesn't pull her punches. So
you don't want somebody that's gonna kiss your ass.
Nope.
Definitely not.
But so that's that, and she did it very well, very thoroughly, very clearly. So I think that she's worth it. And if you want to help me out with that, you can go to Captive Eye, or sorry, not Captive Eye. That doesn't exist. My apologies. feedthebadger.com/IEYE. And if you want to support us monthly, you can go to feedthebadger.com/support. and help us out there. Really appreciate those who have spent the time to go and put some dosh in there. And you can see we have a little Barrio.
Yeah, Badger
Mario.
Badger Mario.
Yeah, so yeah, help us out.
Badger Mario, it's probably Millhouse.
Spaghetti. Oh, ravioli. Mamma mia.
Here we go!
I think there's 3 hours on the Captive Eye fundraiser, so it's getting, now or never, guys, if you want to put it in there. So once again, feedthebadger.com/I for my stuff, feedthebadger.com/support for the show stuff, and let's keep going.
All right, let's play some more.
I don't know. Actually, I do know where she gets off. What she's doing is like chameleoning into this idea that like conservative men have, which is that women should stay in the home. And there's nothing wrong with that ideology, because liberals.
What?
So she's the chameleon because she secretly. Do you? I don't know if you guys can sense the disdain that she has for conservative men. That she's saying that like what they want is something like that we can't have. It's abhorrent. And of course, in order to do that, you have to strawman them to begin with. But that's what it appears that she's doing, and Pearl's taking that a step further in her mind.
Okay. Let me ask you two. Okay, who's the most, I guess, prolific conservative commentator who has like a network and who goes out and speaks and who does all of those, and who's like in the public eye all the time?
Where do I start? I mean, is it like Shapiro? Is it Dennis Prager?
Yeah, that's
is it
the one
like
I was. That's
Ben
the one
Shapiro.
I was thinking of.
Shapiro. Yeah, sure.
Ben Shapiro. Well,
Yeah.
his wife is a doctor.
Yes, I heard.
Yeah, no, you can't not hear it because he constantly says it.
Yeah.
His wife is a doctor, right? So, like, no, Pearly is not saying women should be in the home. She's saying that women often want to be in the home, right? Particularly when they have small children, right? That's just normal, and that's, I think, 85% of women who actually are of childbearing age and actually get pregnant would be like, I kind of want to stay home for 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'd really rather not work. Okay. And particularly if you go down the tiers, right? Down the socioeconomic ladder, right? From the elitist, women who have careers to the ordinary everyday women who have jobs, right? If you honestly speaking, as one of those ordinary everyday women who had a job, okay, I stayed home when my kids were small, and I did whatever it took to make that happen. I did all kinds of fucking shit that most other women would not do in order to pinch pennies and save money and make it possible for us to survive on one income, one low income. We were a low income household, not low middle class. We were low income, right? And I did what it took to be able to stay home with my kids, right? When they were small. And then, then they get to the point where they're like 3-4 years old, and you get an itch to get away from them, right? And that's natural. That's a totally natural progression. And you're like, maybe I could work a couple evenings a week part-time, right? And earn a little extra money for the family, and I'll get some away time from the kids, and you'll be home to look after them, right? That's what you say to your partner, and it's like, and it won't cost anything. There's no daycare that you have to freaking deal with, right? But this is literally the way most women would prefer it to be, other than careerists, right? Careerists, if you have a high power, if you're the COO of fucking Facebook, I suppose, right? You might pick your job over your family. If you can afford a live-in nanny / housekeeper / cook, I suppose you would go back to work right away and be happy to, right? But like the daycare freaking scrambling to make some kind of work-life balance, you know, the fact that I had a friend, a lily white friend with a lily white husband and 4 lily white kids, and her 3-year-old daughter spoke with a Chinese accent. Because the Chinese nanny, and she had 4 kids, so it was like fairly close together. So it was cheaper to just get a live-in nanny than it was to, you know, on their like limited income, than it was to put all 4 kids in daycare, right? So they just got a nanny. And this one Chinese nanny, you got this kid who's just learning how to speak, and they're spending all their time with a Chinese nanny with a heavy accent. So I go over there for Christmas one year, and Emily's like, "Oh, Karen, we got some present for you under the tree." And I was like, well, this is weird. Right? And what was her mom earning, right?
Are you okay there, Brian? You sound
no, I'm just waiting.
But her mom was running her own business, right?
Yes,
and so it needed a lot of attention. But it wasn't a business in the home. It was a business outside the home. And so it's like, okay, so she had to.
Yes,
most mothers don't want to do that. Okay,
but here's the thing: what the heck conservative are we talking about here? Because
we're not talking about Ben Shapiro.
The whole idea that women stay or don't have some kind of income or some kind of activity is
economic activity.
Economic activity is something out of Hollywood in the 50s. It is a Hollywood ideal. It is not a biblical ideal, because I'm pretty sure there's a lot of passages in the Bible that say that the virtuous woman is one who brings material wealth to her family, who is occupied in industrious activities, who's improving her community. So it's either a woman, like you're not living biblically if you're a woman and you're sitting at home with a whole bunch of servants
and labor-saving appliances.
You're living biblically if you're running a farm. Hell, if they knew what women could do in this day and age, because occupations outside the home have opened up to them because they're not all back-breaking labor that involves, extreme risk, they probably would have said yes. A proper biblical woman occupies the role of a studious member of the community that serves them, like a doctor. They probably would have said that.
Yeah, or even just serving up coffee and donuts at Tim Hortons.
Like that is the biblical ideal, is an industrious woman who provides for her family.
Yep.
So I don't know what the hell Roma's gone.
She's just using it as a slur. She doesn't have a definition. It's just bad people. That's it.
Well,
that's what it is. It's just using it as a slur. It has an emotional reaction in her audience. They're just going to go, ew, conservative, ew, and they have these images of whatever the media has put out there and not real fucking people. And that's it. That's why she can't, like, if you nail her down and say, define this, she's not going to give you anything straight because she doesn't know.
But she's said that she's like, I'm not condemning conservatives.
Yeah,
but you're just saying that she's a chameleon because she's a conservative?
Well, and Pearl's not. I don't think Pearl's conservative anyway. I mean, whatever the fuck that means.
I think she's definitely a gadfly from what I've seen of her tweets. I'm like, wow, you're really poking some hornets nests
she comes at the Overton window with a bulldozer. I mean, and that's fine. Like, somebody should do it. I mean, we've been doing it for years, but if she's getting more attention, bully for you.
Yeah,
so,
well, she's coming after
language.
She's directly jousting with the feminine ego. I don't think we necessarily do it. We keep it more to like genuine. And I don't mean that she's not saying genuine things, but genuine issues related to men.
Yeah, sure.
Like, and we don't go directly for the feminine ego.
No.
We're just like presenting the issues that people don't want to talk about. So it's a bit different. Like she's much more, I think, in the realm of a gadfly.
Yeah.
And but
sometimes you need that.
Also,
Yeah, you do.
yeah.
Yeah.
Paul Elam.
I mean, if you're gonna attack with an army, okay, let's say, you need some people to be the foot soldiers that are in the front lines with the spears. You need some people
Vanguard.
with the you need the vanguard. You need the knights on horseback. You need the siege weapons. You need like the archers. You need all of it. You need the assassin. I mean, you know that's how it's like Stratego. It's like chess. Like everybody has a different role. So if Jordan Peterson is like the fucking like I don't know, strategist or whatever, doing like the psychological stuff, I don't have a problem with it because he's not in my way. You know, as like I guess just like a guy throwing fucking bombs or whatever. You know, and I think it's just everybody has. I don't care what people's approach is. As long as we're all firing in the same direction.
Also, I don't think she identifies as a men's rights activist. Yes.
It's like what I said about Paul Elam, right? Years and years ago, right? Like, okay, so people don't like Paul Elam. They'd much rather support an organization like Cafe, that are actually, doing things and stuff. And it's just like, well, who's drawing the fire? Paul Elam. Paul Elam is drawing enemy fire.
He's tanking.
So the Cafe, he's taken all the arrows, he's taken all the spears, and that leaves Cafe. Like if Paul Elam wasn't there, right, who'd be taking the arrows and the spears? That would be Cafe. Right? So
yeah, but they don't want to admit that men's rights are under attack.
Yeah.
But like it's really like we all have our little niche to fill.
Right.
And,
it's a different
and
role.
we all have our different skills and all of that. But like I know why I didn't. Like I think I upvoted or I liked a couple of Roma's videos. I put positive comments on them, but like there's a reason I didn't subscribe to her.
Yeah.
Right. Years ago.
Yeah, no, I get it. I mean, I'm subscribed again because gems like this might pop up sometimes that we can respond to. But that's it. I like to keep an eye on what other people are doing in this, I hate to say space, but I don't know what else to call it. Yeah, this corner of the internet. I like to see what people are doing. So I watch MGTOW, I watch the dating guys, I watch, whoever.
In the overlapping territory of our particular Venn diagram.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is that she's setting herself up as a gatekeeper, Roma.
Yes.
And she never actually... What's really funny is it's like a double encirclement. Like we're in our little fortified camp, and she's like coming over and she's like building her own little wall and saying, yeah, I'm going to keep everybody out. And I'm like, no, you don't get to fucking do that. You're not even an MRA in the first place.
Well, and Pearly...
she is the men's rights community. She says it all the time. She is.
Like, thank you for normalizing
the Senate. That's what she says.
Thank you for normalizing the term.
I am the Senate.
Thank you for normalizing the term, but okay, sorry.
I just don't think Pearly has shown any propensity to like try and like really go after anybody and have them booted out.
No.
I don't know. Like,
I haven't seen it. I mean, she's just kind of doing her thing. I think that she's pretty, she's definitely a gadfly, but she's also pretty, like, passive. She's not like, you are all mine and you have to do what I say and go, my flying monkeys. Like, she doesn't do that, as far as I know. She's got people that follow her that are protective. They're like, simps by choice. But, like, I don't think that it's something that she takes charge of.
Yeah, no, it's kind of like what my mom always used to say when, like, my idiot teenage friends would do idiot things and want me to join in on it. And she was just like, they can do what they do. You do what you do.
Yeah.
Right? And you know what the right thing to do is. So there you go.
Right. Okay. So let's play some more. I haven't gotten any more. Oh, wait. No, yeah, I haven't got any more super chows. So send us some support if you guys can, or if you can, guys. What the hell's wrong with me? Herb to derp. All right, let's play some more.
Feminists seem to just forget is that as much as those men want their women in the home, those men are going to be working for the rest of their lives to provide for that home, for her, for the kids. So like there's a mutual symbiotic relationship going on there, and left liberal women always forget that. But see, what Pearl's doing is Pearl isn't really listening to men. She's taking that conservative ideology and thinking, oh well, this must be.
I don't think, like, again, this is a misrepresentation. Like, do you know how rare it is in the modern day that a woman is a housewife and a man does all the working? Like, that's almost, like, even amongst, no matter what your I don't like that she used the word ideology, but no matter where you sit on that, nobody can afford it unless you're like a fucking six figures, you know, guy with a big house or whatever. Not like everybody, most couples are both working, you know.
I just gotta put up my hand and say guilty as charged.
Well, yeah, I guess because like your man makes a lot of money,
and also
but you take care of him.
Explain to us, you're capable of making it work on like a very minimal amount of money.
Oh yeah, so no. Like my mother-in-law scolded me for being too frugal.
I wouldn't say Karen is conservative by any stretch. That's what I'm talking about. Like, this is a ridiculous assumption to make.
But we were sitting in the backyard. In her backyard, because she wanted to show us her new fence, and I noticed there were a bunch of downspouts leaning up against her garage, and I was like, "What are you doing with those downspouts? You're not going to throw them out, are you? Because if you're going to throw them out, I'll take them because I could use them, right?" And she's like, "Oh my God, Karen, you know, why don't you just hire somebody to come in and do the downspouts, you know, at your house?" And I was just like, because I'm careful with my husband's money. You know, he earns the money and I'm careful with it, and I manage all the finances, and I make sure that we've got money socked away in investments and retirement plans and all this other stuff, because you never know what's going to happen. And this is why I wear this one brand of tank top. I bought it in multiple. I have like 23 of them in different colors because they're $12 each. And they're like literally, other than like 5 other shirts, they're my only shirts, right? That's why we're in a good financial position, Mom, right? Is because I don't spend money unnecessarily. I'm not extravagant. I don't demand a lot. And, you know, and I've managed to keep your son not wrapped around my finger, but still with an old bitch like me, because I take care of him, right? I cooking for him is like a part-time job. It's like 3 hours a day. So, you know, it's like that. And that's just one aspect of his life.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, in my case, like I don't, I honestly think about it because I get a lot of crap from feminists who seem to think that my husband's a beta, because he does a lot of the maintenance work and cooking and cleaning.
Oh, housework. Oh, he doesn't. It's the maintenance work would be fine if he was putting in the new.
Isn't that a self-report on feminism though? Isn't that a self-report?
Yeah, it is. Cleaning the gutters, mending the fence, you know, mowing the lawn, right? Those are all man things, right? You're not supposed to work in the yard yourself. You're supposed to rip a page out of a home and garden magazine, hand it to your husband and say, make it look like this. That's what you're supposed to do, Alison, according to a radical feminist I know.
Okay. Well, I mean, anyway, so I get shit because, well, actually they were trying to bait me because they said, oh, I bet, why don't you go do your housework, I don't know, house slave. And I said, well, actually, the way that it sort of fell out in my family is my husband does a lot of that. And then they said, oh, he's such a beta. I'm like, okay, you're just being a bitch.
Or maybe he just has higher standards.
Well, I think it's more like...
I thought that, like, wanting to do the womanly stuff is fighting toxic masculinity.
No,
What
it's
happened to
always
that?
just wrong. No, look. What I've noticed with discussing with these people is you are always wrong if you disagree with them. They can't articulate what points you actually have, but for some reason you're in their crosshairs and you're wrong. And no matter what you say or anything, it's wrong, and they're going to make the most bad faith interpretation.
Beta!
But what I was going to say is that I was thinking about this, and I'm like, there's no way that I would be married to some high-powered man and enjoy a life taking care of him. And I would have the integrity that I would want to be giving something back, right? But to do all that kind of minutia, to properly cook, all that kind of crap, it would be a mess. I just don't have
you just don't have it in you. Yeah.
I don't have it in me. I don't.
Meanwhile, I have 18 years in the restaurant industry, 5 of them cooking, and the rest of them, waiting tables. And I don't have. And hey, I'm gonna say, I'm not a great housekeeper. This house is like a hideous mess. I got tumbleweeds of dog hair all over the living room, and the dishes. There's always something dirty in the sink, right? I don't keep a perfect house. I don't keep a company-ready house, right? And, he doesn't mind that because he's so much of what I have to do to keep him fed and not kill him, right?
Is so much,
is a lot, right? So he's just basically, he's like, okay, we got our set of priorities. The priorities are, I need to be able to eat and not die, right? Not have to go to the hospital. She's willing to do that for me. I earn plenty of money for both of us. She manages the finances and all of that, and manages to sock away money every month. Sock away money. And so he's like, you know what? I could do way worse, and she's willing to tug my dick pretty much every night. And it's just like,
Yes, but what I'm getting at, okay, I'm gonna finish, right? Okay, so my arrangement, I thought about it really carefully after feminists went after me for having a beta husband. And I was like, I just don't think I could handle a really high-powered guy. Like a really high-powered, like what they seem to want, like 6 figures, six pack, six, whatever it is. I'd be like, I'd be like, you're some kind of other species, dude. No thanks. You know what I mean? It's like you're not really a human being. You're a thoroughbred.
I've had the option of 6 figures, 6 pack, and. There's just
I can't go at that pace, and I can't honestly, I'm not going to get in a relationship where I'm not reciprocating because I've got some form of integrity. So I can't reciprocate in the way that would be necessary for a guy like that.
Yeah,
so
just I'm good. I can't keep a perfect
I'm
house.
a beta. My husband's a beta. We're betaing together.
Beta!
You're gammas.
Gammaing together, whatever. Or gammas, isn't that even lower than beta?
Or deltas, or you're not omegas.
Okay, well,
no,
I don't know.
You're like
the spectrum.
You're the weirdos, right?
Sigma?
Like my husband and I are weirdos as well. He's weird, I'm weird, we're both weird, right?
Yeah, and I got a whole community of weirdos who like to send us esoteric crap that we don't understand.
There you go, but we're perfect together because we're weird, and it's just like.
Okay, but I need to get to my conclusion here.
We both have to provide value.
Yes, but I think that's the point. The conservative position, the biblical position, is not, she stays at home with, a leisure time. No, it's that the woman is productive, industrious, puts her family and community first. Doesn't matter how that falls out. If she's a career woman, people shouldn't have a problem with career women because they're industrious. They should have a problem with them because they're selfish in many cases, if they're selfish.
Yeah.
You know, you shouldn't have a problem with housewives or preferably homesteaders because they're industrious, because they're making the effort to either reduce the amount of money that's being spent or to bring money in. You shouldn't care. It's not that they're homesteaders or housewives. It's when they're selfish, when they're not actually there for their family.
Yeah.
When they're actually leeching off of their husband. That's the problem. Okay? Yeah. When you look at your relationships in terms of what you can get instead of what you give. And I'm pretty sure the Bible is more about, idle hands or the devil's work than they are, what is the specific form of industry that this woman is bringing to her family? All
yeah,
right?
no, it's basically even like in the 1950s, during that dream era, that illusory era of the stay-at-home woman who she had all the modern conveniences and
the Hollywood fiction era,
including TV dinners, and things like that. That she could heat up in the oven on a tray. What you still had women who volunteered in the community. They had, they organized block parties and they organized, they were part of the PTA and they volunteered with the church.
And bake sales and basically they built community.
Yeah.
They had suppers for their husband's boss and his wife.
Yeah, no, they definitely, there was a set of expectations that you would not be sitting on your ass watching soap operas and eating bonbons.
Right.
Like my mom used to have the coffee ladies over, there were 3 or 4 ladies who would come over for coffee
bridge
every morning. And we weren't rich. We were like, my dad was a mechanic.
Well, I said bridge. I didn't say rich.
Oh, no, not bridge. No, they would come over. They would have coffee because they were all kind of within like a couple blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And they'd walk over, have coffee at around 8:30 in the morning, which was about 5 minutes after I usually left for school. So when I was homesick, right, they'd tell me, Karen, don't go away mad. Just go away. Like, vamoose, get out. And the grown-ups are talking here. And one would bring her hand sewing. One would bring her knitting. One would bring her crocheting. Another would bring her piecework because she was doing, doing little, she was doing stuff for like a specialty advertising company. So she would like be pinning the tails on like a rosette ribbon, to put on a, prize winning something. Right? They all brought some kind of work that they could do while they were sitting around chatting over coffee. Right? Like there were no idle hands there.
Mm-hmm.
And they were all doing stuff that was either just beneficial to the household because it was a way to save money, or beneficial to the household because one actually did, she hemmed pants for money, another knit sweaters for money. They were all doing that kind of stuff. And my mom would sometimes be in the kitchen on the other side of the counter because we had an open kitchen, kneading the bread dough.
Yeah.
While everyone was having coffee.
Right. Mm-hmm. So, Alison, finish your point so we can get back to the video.
Okay, so my overall point is, I think the biblical ideal is just a woman who's industrious. And is beneficial to her family, either saving money or making it. And I don't think there's as much of a particular emphasis on the type of industry. At the time, it would have been home industry because, women were restricted by virtue of biology and safety to the home, not really because of men. Mm-hmm. And, today they probably would say Ben Shapiro's doctor's wife, who with her emphasis on bringing her industry to her family, is fine.
Yeah.
So I don't think that, I think that's the norm for most married couples, regardless of their.
Yes.
I mean,
anyway, is she really okay with the conservative ideologies? It sounds that she's tainting the well
Yeah,
by
she's
using
poisoning the
term.
well a bit and using it to essentially throw sling mud at Pearl. So
what men want. They want women with no rights. And the reason why this fucking pisses me off so much is because feminists...
She thinks that conservative men want women with no rights. That's what she's saying.
Yes, she just slid that in.
Mm-hmm.
And no, that's why I say stop. And this is why this takes so long. Is because people do this crap. They slide this stuff in. They do a fire hose of bullshit. Then they slide things in. You got to respond to it before it goes any further.
Yeah.
Conservative. There is no society in which women are restricted without corresponding male obligations.
Yeah.
Okay? And your lifestyle isn't necessarily the best lifestyle for every person out there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so maybe the high-powered alpha male wants a woman who stays at home. Okay, if it works for them, it works for them. Maybe you're a beta like me, and you get another person who's on the same wavelength, and you complement each other in a different way.
Yep.
So no woman can say, "Oh, your lifestyle is wrong." You can only say your behavior is wrong if you are disrespectful, if you are contemptuous, if you don't bring value to your family, if you're a lazy slob, okay? Or even if, not necessarily, like, I don't know, my term of the word slob is probably different than other people, and some people might consider us slobs, so who knows? But you're a person who doesn't provide industry or some kind of benefit to your family and your relationships. You solely look at your relationships with others in terms of your own benefit. Okay? Yeah. That's the problem. How the particular slots and arrangements, like if you're a woman who has a disability and you do what you can, but you can't do these other things, doesn't matter. Okay? If you're a career woman, doesn't matter. Hell, if you're a freaking prostitute, it doesn't matter. Just treat your relationships with respect. Okay?
And as a partnership.
And as a partnership. Right? You know, be a Skittles. Like, she was like a really famous Victorian prostitute in the 1900s.
Oh.
Yeah, she was famous for being very, very charming and positive.
And also having a candy named after.
Yeah, well, it's actually a type of game. It's like a lawn bowling. At the time, I think this candy was named after the game. But anyway, that's a little bit of an aside. I'm just saying, whatever arrangement of your life, be kind. Think about things. Think about your life in terms of what you can give, not what you can receive. Mm-hmm. Right? That's it. Mm-hmm. You know, whether or not you are a homesteader, a homemaker, whether or not you're a coupon cutter, whether or not you're a doctor, whether or not you're an artist or a writer, as a woman, whatever it is, whatever fulfills you. When you have a relationship, see it in terms of what you can give instead of what you receive.
There you go. Well, why do you think that for hundreds of years, widows could inherit their husband's master tradesman status? They could themselves become master craftsmen within a guild, right? It's because the business was usually centered in the home, whether you were a cobbler or a farrier or a cooper or, like, you know, a blacksmith or a silversmith or a tinsmith or whatever, right? The business was centered within the home, and the wife was a partner within the business, and she learned enough about how to run that business. Maybe not necessarily enough about how to actually, you know, hammer tin or make horseshoes, but how to run the business, because that's what she was doing with her days, was, you know, being sort of the administrative arm of her husband's trade, his business. And so she could then, when he died, she could inherit his master status and hire apprentices and hire journeymen and all of those things and continue the business. And she would be the owner operator of that business with master status. And That's why that happened. It was because women were an equal partner in their husband's business endeavors. Right? It's like this is not rocket science, people. This is just like how things work.
Basic human decency. Yeah. It's just basic human decency. And like I said, like women get it, and we're talking about the one good woman. And one of the things that I've noticed about women is they constantly fight each other over what is the correct arrangement of parts. And it's like, that's not what you need to worry about.
Yeah.
Like I said, no matter how you arrange, whatever your calling is, that doesn't matter.
Whatever your spreadsheet is.
Yeah, what matters is that you bring care, consideration, respect, and a desire to give to your relationships.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. Okay. Shall we continue?
Okay.
Let's play some more.
And people who are on the blogs and authors and writers, whatever the fucking magazines, they're always writing about the men's rights movement as like these misogynistic incels. And when we have people like fucking Pearl.
Wait. First of all, Pearl doesn't identify as a men's rights activist, and this has been happening. This I'm sorry, Roma. You cannot blame this on Pearl. They choose to do this because this is their weapon to silence people.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it doesn't
matter how carefully you pick your words or how well you arrange your shit. The media, the academics, the feminists, the intellectuals, the politicians, they're going to frame it in whatever way is best for them, no matter what. So, yes, exactly. And this is why I'm saying, it's time to stop doing that. It's time to stop stepping in and saying, oh no, that guy's not one of us. I mean, if you want to be clear, that's fine, but don't expect them to be like, oh, I'm sorry, Roma. You're right. We looked into it and we found out that Pearl never calls herself a men's rights activist. Let's hear what you have to say, because obviously you know what this is. That's never happened, and it's never going to happen. Okay? You have to be really aggressive, and you have to be unapologetic, and Pearl's doing that, and that's why she's got 2 million subs. So suck it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, first of all, I think we're pretty unapologetic, but maybe we're a little bit more highbrow.
A little more esoteric.
Yeah, well, I think we're actually getting to the real heart of the corruption. I would say that they play this game where it is the men's rights activist game. Everybody they don't like is a men's rights activist. Although lately it's been an incel. Or a red pillar.
Or an Andrew Tate follower, or whatever the slur of the day is. That's basically all it is.
Before that, it was everybody they don't like is a men's rights activist who's obviously a misogynist. Because in our society that puts men's benefit ahead of everybody else's, the worst thing you can be called is an advocate for men's rights. An advocate for men. Okay, that's the worst thing in our society, where it should be the best thing, you would think, but regardless. This is the insult they use for everyone. And the only, where men's rights activists came from? We activated on these issues. We talked about these issues. We brought these issues up. We were called men's rights activists as a slur to silence us. And those of us who didn't run away screaming and shut up because we got called that, we just simply said, it doesn't matter what you call us. These issues are important and we're going to continue to talk about it. And if you want to call us that, fine. We're men's rights activists. So what? Pay attention to these issues. That's really where the label came from. And Roma doesn't know that because we have been fighting this long and this hard, and we have to be paid attention to now, there is some cachet to the term, and now she's using it without even knowing where it came from or how it came about. And this is obvious from what she's saying here. All right? They will always use these terms because they are going to use them to silence people. And yeah, the things that Pearly says, I don't necessarily agree with. I think she's definitely a damn gadfly, which is really interesting to watch. Some things I'm like, I just have to shake my head about, but she's getting attention because she is a gadfly. Okay? It's because she's going directly toward. And I have this suspicion that what's the real problem is that Pearly is setting up a set of standards that Roma herself doesn't live up to.
Well, she's willing to say things that Roma won't. And I think it's because...
that Roma won't, but she's also pointing out that Roma isn't the most attractive woman in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, come on.
Yeah, there's definitely intersexual competition going on here, at least on Roma's part. I don't know if Pearl is aware of her existence, but like, I think that's kind of fascinating to watch, especially as people who are kind of like been talking about this stuff for a while, but we're not a part of this particular.
I don't just mean the most physically attractive.
No,
Karen.
I know.
Yeah, no. I'm aware of that, but like I think Pearl is she's one of those people who like me basically thinks that okay, people actually take me more seriously if I don't doll myself up, if I don't adorn myself, if I don't dress flashy and sexy, and if I don't look like I'm trying to be attractive. Like, you know, sexually attractive. If I don't go on videos looking like I'm going to the nightclub, and it's I think that actually, if you want to get into like authenticity and sincerity and things like that, that the eschewing of adornment. Right? You just are like, well, I'm not here to be pretty. I'm here to say shit that I think is important. And you should probably listen to me not because I'm pretty, but because I say shit that's important.
Yeah.
You know, like being physically attractive, even being, you know, personality wise, you know, Roma might actually, in terms of like charm, may actually be more charismatic than Pearl. Pearl's not that charismatic. She's not. She just says shit that needs to be said. She does not have a sparkling personality. She's just like, you know.
She's Pearl's a bit spurgy. A little bit. Yeah. She's a bit spurgy.
Maybe that's another thing that's really, you know, like, honestly, I'm going to be honest, because I saw some pretty catty crap coming from which we can take a look at if you want. I can send Brian a link. I think that the fact that Pearl is now lapping Roma, let's be honest about this. I'm not surprised that this video came out now.
Oh yeah,
Pearl is lapping Roma, and she's doing it with
substance.
And she's doing it with, well, more substance, shall we say.
Yeah.
And she's lapping Roma, and she's doing it without showing her tits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and without wearing spaghetti straps.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just like, you know, this is one of the things. Who's that old frickin' woman? God, I forget her name, but she's like this old British woman, and she's been on like Sky News and, you know, Channel 4 and other places, right? But she's just old and wrinkly, and she doesn't wear any makeup. And I think they bring her into the studio, and they're like, "Well, let's make you up," and she's like, "Fuck that shit." You know, she's like 80 or something like that. She's like, "What the hell are you talking about, makeup?"
I have earned the right to just be an old wrinkly lady yelling at clouds.
Well, because the clouds need to be yelled at.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm sorry, but like, if you put in, if you look at how long someone puts into their appearance, and then look at how many followers they have, right? How much time do they put into their appearance, their physical appearance, as far as women go, and how many followers they have? You know, part of that is part of the ability of the woman who really doesn't put a lot of effort into it. Part of her ability to lap Roma is just because she says more substantive things.
Yeah. No, yes, I would say that.
All it is.
or at least more ballsy things.
Yes.
But okay, so I had this really interesting exchange on Twitter, because I was talking to like a submissive wife rad femme. I have I was just bizarre human being, but she seemed to think that the only way a woman could get attention from men was through sex.
Well, sex doesn't hurt.
No, sex doesn't. Well, I guess not, but it's like she was. So I explained, like I have this many followers, and then we have this community, and she's like, "Oh, your husband lets you do that?" I'm like, "Well, Brian talks to men in our community. Like, is Brian cuckolding Lindsay?" Anyway, but it was just interesting because there's this automatic assumption that the only way a woman can get attention from men is sexually.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I look at it, like I'm 52 years old now. And menopause did not treat me kindly at all. So, like I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh fuck, I'm an old wrinkly bitch. But, like I still talk like I used to talk. I don't, but I mean, like the reason why I stopped wearing makeup in my videos was because I did not want to appeal to that, right? I did not want to be like, oh, well, she's just, and like, it wasn't even like I was a young hottie at the time. I was like 39 years old when I started, 40 years old. So, I'd already more than hit the wall, and I wasn't gonna like lure anybody with my looks, but I'm just like, yeah, no, I actually have things to say. And
that's the thing. I think that's part of also the problem here. And like I said, I'm not surprised that this video came out just as Pearl lapped Roma.
Oh yeah.
I can almost
a little bit more
that we need to do a bit more.
Yeah. How about that? Do you have any thank yous to give?
No, I don't have any thank yous, and I just want to remind everyone that I'm going to go for the captive eye because we have 2 hours left and like 395 left to go. Like,
all right,
we're so close, guys. 2 hours left. Can we make it? And then this monkey will be off my back. That would be very much appreciated. So once again, go to feedthebadger.com/I. Feedthebadger.com/I. $395 left. I think we can make it. 2 hours. Go. Do it now. All right, let's do it.
Albert Nada Retro gives us $5 Canadian and says, the looks thing is why they don't go after Melanie King. She says the same stuff Pearly says, and she's really attractive, so they leave her alone. All right, thank you for that. I don't know who that is, and I saw that there were some other recommendations for women in the men's issue space. Rebecca Barrel, Dad Advocate, Emily Quing,
Dadvocate.
Yeah, but it's spelled Dadvocate. I don't know if that's a misspell on Alex's part.
No.
Pink Book Lessons. I know what it's supposed to say. I know. I'm just.
Yeah, no, but TEH.
Yeah.
That's just like keck.
Yeah, sure. Okay. The Dadvocate.
Or Lel.
Or Lel. But I like keck better. Lel. We already talked about this before. There's lols and lulls, and then there's lels, and then there's keks. And keks have the highest currency, and then lels are like the second. They're like a quarter.
This is a blast from like 7 years ago.
I know, I feel like such a boomer.
So many keks.
Yeah.
There's a certain number of lulls in a kek.
Oh yeah, that's because there was in the more innocent times, in the before time.
Yeah.
There was a journalist who was talking about the kek economy.
Yeah, the kek economy. That's right.
And next we'll be talking about exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, 1, exclamation point, 1, 1.
Yeah,
and then spelt out in letters 11T1, exclamation point, exclamation point.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's play some more of this.
Pearl come into the light and say that women shouldn't have the right to vote. Like, oh, it's so frustrating. I am going to tag in the description a video that I did, literally going through like her worst tweets and like why I dislike her. It's really funny to me that I recorded that video and posted it like a few weeks before this even happened, because it's just
potentially is the reason Roma is the reason
We're
potentially
fighting.
because Pearl said that men who are wealthy and conservative want women with a low body count who don't have a previous child. Could that be the reason why?
Women who aren't wandering pusculent sacks of crap with the issue of 3 other men barking and nipping at their cankles.
Well, even if they're well put together, like I mean, I think that's the real issue, is that Pearl has said, and by saying that men with significant resources can and will choose women who are more desirable. She's, like I said, I think the real issue is that Pearl has said that Roma isn't the most attractive woman in the room.
Yeah.
Oh God! You know, like what drives me crazy is like we have an entire subgenre of dirty fiction for women based on this. It's called BBW, Big Beautiful Woman, right? And the man is always Brad Pitt, and the woman is always Melissa McCarthy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and they fall in love.
Ultimate fantasy of mid women.
To be fair, it's just a fantasy.
Sure.
It is a fantasy, but it tricks women into thinking that that's possible. And then if you actually were to do,
nobody wants to give them the wake up call, and if they do, then that guy loses his job.
Okay, and okay, here's another one. Okay, Fat Jonah Hill, not new version Jonah Hill, Fat Jonah Hill.
Not so Slim Shady.
Yeah, with I don't know,
peak Scarlett Johansson or Gal Gadot.
Yeah, or Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like, and he's like, he's just like, oh my God, and all of the women would be like, yeah, you know,
right.
With Cedric, whatever, the song, Fuck
Now, having
You.
said that, there is a lot.
Yeah,
of
no,
porn
but that's that song, Fuck You, Forget You. Right?
Yeah. Oh, I know what you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So even him, right? He only could get women because he's a snappy dresser and he's famous, and he's famous for being cool.
Yeah. There's a difference between looking like Zach Galifianakis and being Zach Galifianakis.
Okay.
So.
Okay. This is actually really scaring me because Richard Bier just put $500 in. Okay, Richard.
Whoa.
Chill it with the donation or the support now. Okay, no more. Am I gonna have to blacklist you? No, I really appreciate it, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, please don't do it again.
Yeah,
like,
really.
I was I messaged him like, I think it's okay if you like. I was thinking like maybe $100. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I message some of the people who like to support various stuff, and I'm like, "Oh, would you like to support?" And because I've started up a fundraiser because I'm sort of I'm an imposer like that. But I really appreciate the support, Richard Bier. I hope that this is not like you're not spending your retirement fund.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Also that.
Oh my God! Shut up, your dog.
Also that you didn't. There's sirens outside. I'm sorry.
Oh, is that your dog? Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh my God! Oh, mute.
Now both of them are starting.
Just mute.
But
mute.
That he wasn't trying to put. That he wasn't trying to put 5.
Oh yeah.
.00.
Okay, maybe I should.
Yeah, like don't refund it, but just clarify.
Yeah, so you intended.
All right. Just make sure that that's what you meant to do. But
okay,
I
said it would be okay because this is only like more of a one-time fundraiser, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if this is something that he's just going to do a one-off, that's fine. And there's other people who support quite a bit, and then they just go quiet for a bit, and then they support again. So maybe he's in that category. I'm just hoping that this is so. Yeah, okay. Apparently he did. All right. Well, thank you very much. So
thank you.
Richard Bier got us over the final amount on the captive eye. I'm funded.
Okay, and Richard deserves a really awesome soundbite.
Yes.
Oh, let me see. Let's do.
And I'll send him.
I'm really rich.
But
I'm gonna send him some of the artwork that I've got from Luke Fresher.
Oh yeah, good. That sounds cool.
That this is stuff that only a very select number of people have seen.
It's Luke Weber. His
Weber?
online his name is Luke Weber. He said so don't worry, I'm not doxing him. And his like online, I guess, presence would be under Fresher Luke. If you look up Fresher Luke, I think he has a YouTube channel. I don't know if it's up still. He used to do streams, but he doesn't do it anymore. But I want him to feel encouraged and inspired. Because I know how he felt. When I was getting sick, I didn't do any art, and now I've started back up again that I'm feeling better. So, and I think that he's way too talented to waste away.
Yeah, I'm actually really glad that you're doing art again. That was worrying me. You worried me quite a bit this year. I'll just say that.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the sentiment. I'm bouncing back. Anyway.
No, I don't mean to put that on you. I'm just
that's fine. I get it.
Yeah.
All right, let's
not think about those times.
I got some super chats that I should read through. So, Johnny Boy Quick Draw gives us $2 and says, Shrek's above Kex. Shrek is love. Shrek is life. Thank you for that. And Albert Ada Retro gives us $5 Canadian and says, tonight's Lotto Max is 70 million tax-free. I win and you're set. Actually, this is the Powerball, I think it's called, or Super Bowl. I don't know what they call it. Powerball?
I think.
It's Powerball. I asked Lindsay because I did buy some tickets today. So I've never done this before. Maybe I'll be one of those. You know how there's people who play constantly and they never win, and there's the one old couple that plays once and they win. I'm hoping that we'll be that lucky. And if I am that lucky, then yes, we are all set. So anyway.
Okay, I have one more thank you.
All right, go ahead.
Timothy W puts in $25 again to Captive Eye. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Very appreciated. So our final tally.
Okay, so
isn't that what Joe Biden did on that child's back?
Yeah, right.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, so our final tally.
I'm sure I saw tongue there.
Yeah. Well,
okay,
I did.
Don't be whore.
That's true.
Okay. All right, so it's $7,630. So thank you, everybody. It's very appreciated. This is going to go directly to the developmental edit of my book, which is something that a lot of YouTubers, if they're doing books, just sort of skip. But I know the Dunning-Kruger effect, so I'm pretty sure that books have developmental editors for a reason. So I don't think I should skip this step.
It's not a good idea, even if you're really quite good in terms of writing a clean manuscript and a tight manuscript. You definitely want a content editor and a final line editor.
Yeah. Well, okay, so the developmental editor works on the substantive issues of characterization, theme, plotting, stuff like that, and also market placement. And then you have a line editor who works with the specific issues of how you want to say stuff. Yeah. And then you have a copy editor that works with grammar, word choice,
syntax, spelling.
Yeah, tense. And then you have a proofreader who gets all those final typos before they go out. But the reason why I did this is I figure if I get the developmental editor, I can still develop a product in terms of an audiobook.
Yeah.
Because that's not as, like the line edit and the copy edit. Line edit might be critical for an audiobook, but to some degree, when you're reading something, some of the finer details of how things are said aren't as.
Well, your eye will see what it's expecting to see.
Yeah.
And so you'll read it as you expect it to sound, right?
But and I've also talked to like Mike about maybe helping me with the audiobook, like Dr. Ranwerkamp, since he's
he'd be good.
He's got a beautiful voice when he wants to. But anyway, so thank you all, guys. I really appreciate this demonstration of faith in what I'm doing, and or concern about my ability to do something that I really love. Whichever it is, that's really appreciated. And thanks again to everybody who helped out. There's so many. The big ones would be Deadly, Le French, of course Richard Bier, Machine, or no, not Machine. Is that what his name is? Because he put in like $500 recently. Of course, Vesa always helps out a lot, and so much appreciated. Like it really is wonderful to be able to continue this. All right. Okay, back to you, Brian.
All right, back to this. Let's try to make a little progress.
Yeah, it is Machine. Sorry.
Solidifies my opinion. And the thing that pisses me off about the internet is whenever, especially women, like as women, we get pinned up against each other quite a lot, right? Who's better, blah, blah, blah. And so if I voice an opinion about like Pearl, then people will be like, oh, I don't fuck with you, I'm unsubscribing. Or they think that if I don't fuck with Pearl, that means that I want you guys then to just not fuck with Pearl. And I just think that that's so fucking bitchy and so immature.
Can we slow down this?
Yeah.
How much fuck is in that statement?
Good question.
Okay, I think I counted like three separate instances of distinct fuck.
It's pretty fucky.
Yeah, let's go back a bit. So, because we gotta analyze this step by step with true Aspie colors flying.
All right. I'm gonna go back a bit. Okay.
Yeah, no, but even further. Okay, because she's making a bunch of statements that are all mingling together. Okay, a little bit further.
Isn't it mostly just one general thing, which is like,
no,
as women we get pinned up against each other quite a lot?
Quite a bit. Okay, yeah. As women we get... Stop.
Yeah.
All right. You are in a state of insecurity, not anxiety. Because you are seeing this woman lap you. You probably don't understand why, because you've got your ticks out. And you are complaining about what you think it is, which is that she's appealing to conservatives or something.
Misogynists,
who you are now equating with misogynists who want to take away women's rights.
Yes.
Okay, well, one, I don't think Pearl ever said she wanted to take away women's vote. She's just pointing out the problem of women having the vote. How that's solved, we don't know. Like, maybe the way to solve it is to have a general draft of women to industries that are required for mobilizing a military effort, right? Okay, so that's not going to take away jobs from men in the military that are safer if women are occupying, I don't know, government munitions factories or whatever, and they're drafted to do so. All right, so that's the thing. We don't know how this is solved, but it is a problem. Pearl is pointing out the problem. She's saying for herself, she would rather not have the vote and not be drafted. For herself. Okay? That is not taking away women's vote. It is framing the problem that it has constructed in our society, which is a necessary conversation to have. Not the least of which is, this is a disenfranchisement of men, and we use it to somehow believe that we in the past disenfranchised women. Okay? It supports a delusion about society. So she's not taking away any women's rights. She's opening up a conversation about a big problem in our society.
Right. Just to let you guys know, I'm zipping away from the mic for about like 3 minutes.
Okay, that's fine. Go walk your dog or go to the bathroom or whatever. All right, so she says, we women get pinned up against each other quite a lot. So what she's doing here is suddenly the agent in this situation has divorced itself from her. You see what I'm saying, Brian? She is a victim of the situation. Something is causing women, and I see pinned up against each other. What she probably means is fighting.
Set up against each other. Yeah, exactly.
So
it's like,
it's not her.
the internet does that.
Yeah, it's just
you know,
the force of non-agency that women just find themselves in, the currents. I find myself in a current and suddenly I'm pinned up against Pearl. No, you're reacting to insecurities that you refuse to examine in yourself. Pearl has said, without even really directly addressing you, because she apparently thinks you're beneath her notice, or isn't interested in it. She's not interested in talking to us, but I'm perfectly happy of accepting my role as being beneath Pearl's notice. You know, I'm not going to send her $300 super chows or donations and say, notice me, senpai. She isn't paying attention to you, essentially. And she said something not to you, but about the group of women you belong to, which is women with a high body count, tattoos, and who have children.
Well, yeah, I was gonna say I think she's a single mom, but I don't. I might be wrong. So yeah,
she is a single mom.
Yes. Okay.
She has said something about the group of women you belong to that is unflattering and basically points you out as not the most attractive women in the room. And Pearl is very honest about saying she's not the most attractive woman in the room either. Obviously. Okay? That what you are feeling now is not anxiety, it's insecurity. And she's lapping you without appealing to sex by being a gadfly. And you're trying to figure out why, and you're like, oh, it's because she's appealing to misogyny and distorting her message. But what you are feeling right now is insecurity over your loss of relevance and the fact that someone's pointing out that you are not the most attractive woman in the room. Okay.
Yeah.
This is something you're going to have to face once you hit the wall. Okay? So don't project it out. Deal with it in-house. This isn't currents pushing you up against Pearl. It's your own insecurity forcing you to, or something you have responsibility over, compelling you to act in this way. Compelling you to fight with her. And so far, Pearl has no interest in fighting with you, Roma, or responding to or acknowledging you at all. As far as I can tell.
Yeah, doesn't look like it.
Doesn't look like it.
But this is like, she is kind of like setting up a board, as it were. You know,
yes, and
like this is something that women do, guys. Help me.
No, but this is something that is done to women.
Yeah,
Brian.
it's done to women. That's right. Yes, it's done to women.
I can't punch at Pearl. I'm punching at Pearl, but it's not me doing it, guys. You can't hold me responsible for it. Face it, Roma, you're eventually going to have to. How old is she? She's in her 30s?
Roma? I don't know. I mean, maybe she looks like she could be in her early 30s, maybe late 20s. Her and Pearl are probably close in age, but I don't know. I like I said, I'm subscribed to them both, but I don't watch all of their content. So I just like to see where I like to watch their journey, just kind of how I am, you know? So,
yeah.
Because
she's 24 years old.
Her Roma?
Yeah.
Wow, she looks a little older than that. Just saying.
I
don't know. I mean,
I don't think you intended.
Well,
to
let me put it like this. She looks like she's had a life of experiences.
She's had a life of adventure.
Yes, an old soul is how some people will call it. But no judgment. I'm not, not hating. So
I would not have guessed 24.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed that either. But
she's okay. So let me see this. Like Pearl is 5'10".
Yeah, Pearl's a big woman.
But she's only 65 kilos.
So I don't know what that even means. What's your
62
fucking
kilos?
metric system shit?
Her body measurements, or how the fuck did they
I
find
think Pearl
stuff
was.
like this?
I think Pearl was kind of athletic or something. Like she was like a basketball
like, I was
player or
thinking-
something. WNBA.
I'll
I
show
don't
you
know.
something that was so.
But
I'm gonna show you something.
Can I play more of this video? Because I feel like we're going into the weeds here, and we're not.
Yeah, I know, but
Okay,
we're also
okay.
waiting for Karen to get back, right?
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, show a bit because we're going through this.
Yeah, we're
one
just
bit at a
playing
time.
through this again. Like this is something that Karen already heard. So.
Yeah, and what I'm trying to get at is every single bit of fuck. First, starting with, it is the currents of patriarchy. I don't know, the currents outside of my control that are pushing me into fighting with Pearl. No, that's you, Roma. You're deciding to do this. There's nobody forcing you.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's play some more.
Better, blah blah blah. And so if I voice an opinion about like Pearl, then people will be like, oh, I don't
Pause,
fuck with
please.
you.
That's not a series of opinions. It's a series of insults and condemnations and poisoning the well.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. She's saying this is a problem. She doesn't know how to solve this problem. So she's not saying take away women's vote. She doesn't know how to solve the problem. She's just pointing it out. And yes, she has a lot of really hot takes. But I think it's because she's definitely a gadfly.
Well, I mean, like, the thing is, and I don't mean this as a criticism of Roma. I hope that she figures this out. But when you're saying, like, the same shit that we've been saying for 10 years, and you're still saying it, and you're saying it like it's a new thing that you just discovered when obviously it couldn't possibly be the case, then yeah, I mean, it's not going to really get a lot of attention. The fact is that I think the stuff that we've been talking about, and when I say we, I don't mean, like, specifically this channel, but, like, people like us and Paul and Warren Farrell and others, that is basically making its way out into the world, and other people are hearing it, and they're finding it, and they're talking about it too. So if Roma heard this somewhere, and I'm sure that she did, and then she's like sort of regurgitating it, again, not a problem. I don't care if like there's more people spreading the word, but like, you know, you're not gonna make people go, oh, I've never heard that before. Like most people are gonna be like, oh yeah, I've heard that on, you know, this or that radio station, YouTube channel, blog, website, you know,
Tucker
whatever,
Carlson,
podcast.
yeah.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson did a whole month on it. You know, God bless Tucker Carlson. And so yeah, if Roma's saying what those guys have been saying, it's like, you know, not. I'm glad you're saying it, but you're not exactly shaking things up. But then Pearl she's pushing the Overton window, talking about the vote, which is
God, yeah.
So you know, people are going to pay attention to that. So I mean, and Pearl's got a point. At the very least, it should be something that should be on the table to discuss. Yeah,
I remember like years and years ago, when I first proposed, like, I don't think men have the right to vote.
Yeah.
Because we've been framing this in this way, and I did this on a Voice for Men's website. I said, I don't think men, it was just a comment. It occurred to me, I don't think men have the right to vote. They never had the right to vote. And I explained why.
Right. Not a
And
right.
that was like probably 13 years ago.
Yeah.
That I was saying it in the way that Pearl is talking about it now.
Yeah.
And, you know, so it's been floating around for a while. And, yeah, but apparently Pearl hit the right time, right place. But here's the other thing. Like, all of these big faces, you get about 5 years, right? Roma, you get like 5 years. First couple years, people, you know, you're growing big. I'm not talking about Honey Badger Radio. I don't know what the hell kind of creature we are. But you get big when you're like that single personality. You get big, and I see this with the men too, like the Andrew Tates, and then before him, the Tucker something or other. But there was not a Tucker Carlson.
Tucker
Max.
Yeah,
Rollo. You know, you get
Rushvi.
You get big for a couple years, then you're just gone. Like, you're the flavor of the month, not month, but like flavor of the half decade. And Pearl is now on ascendancy. She's a new face saying some similar things and some very ballsy Overton expanding things.
No, I mean, like, the one thing that I will say about Pearl is that she
I
is
have to
actually
take off for a couple minutes.
She is actually saying things that other people don't say. Roma would never say.
Right.
You know, like, maybe we should repeal the 19th, right? You know who does say that? Blonde.
Yes, Blonde does say that, and I love her. I've had her on the show
all
before.
the time. Yeah,
I actually have her number. I text her sometimes.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah, she's great.
She's another of the people that I'm responsible for. So I got Sargon of Akkad, who sat me down at breakfast and said, "You're the reason I exist online."
Yeah.
You're responsible for me, whatever that is, whatever I am, right? You're responsible. Blonde sent me a video before she had like kind of a little bit of a channel, right? And she was just like, I kind of want to put out some videos, and I want to talk about these issues, and I just wondered if you could have a look at a video that I'm thinking of putting up. And I looked at it and I was like, yeah, no, fill your boots, like do it. And she's very conservative. She's like she's not a men's rights activist. She's very conservative. But I was just like, no, add your voice, do it.
Yeah, exactly.
And she took my advice, and it's just, I'm just interested in people saying shit that doesn't get said. That
right.
Yeah. And anybody who's going to say something that even makes a modicum of sense that other people aren't saying, I'm going to encourage them.
Yep. Yep.
Who was this that you were encouraging? Sorry, I had to take a quick break.
Blonde in the belly of the beast.
Oh, cool. Yeah, you're like you've launched so many people. You've encouraged so many people before they got big. I was just gonna say, I don't know what kind of animal we are here at Honey Badger Radio. I think there's something different about us.
We're an incubator.
Well, not just that, but what I notice is that I think all of us are in. I mean, we may have been divorced, but we're now in long-term stable relationships. I think we're a lot more grounded in realities of life. Sorry?
I'm
what do you mean by divorced? Oh, you mean Karen, yeah, but...
Yeah, there's a couple of us who've been divorced, but we are now in long-term, because I didn't want to... I'm not divorced, but I didn't want to single any... Yeah, I didn't want to... But I wanted to include all of what... Okay. We're now in long-term stable relationships. We're pretty grounded people. Yeah. I don't think we're in the same kind of mold as like the names that get really big. And I think part of it is that when you're grounded, you're just not as interested in attention all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but again, I think I would say that in the case of Pearl and Roma, if that's what we're talking about, the thing about them is that it's not just that they might be young or single or whatever, and their female is a big plus, because this is how a lot of people who come to us, and myself included, found this, because I was looking at Karen and Alison and other women that were talking about these issues. And the fact that women would even do it was mind-blowing, because that's just kind of like the state of things, right? Doesn't happen. But I think the other thing is that Pearl and Roma have a mainstream appeal. Like, they're speaking to an audience that is younger and mostly male, and there's a lot of women, and they have like I said, they have a broad mainstream appeal, and we might be too niche. I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we had like podcasts where, like the Whatever podcast or like Pearl's constant sort of, shows where she has a bunch of guests on and they talk about relationships and they talk about family, and then the subject of men and women come up, or the subject of feminism comes up, then those will take off. But that's not the way that our content is made, so we're not going to get the same mainstream appeal. People are going to tune in, they're going to see that a stream is like 3 hours and be like, no, I'm not doing that. So
when I did that work, like that smaller bite-sized work, the main channel was blowing up. Yeah. The thing is that I had to make a choice. And I can say that to people who are like, well, why aren't you doing this work or that work? I did do that work. But then I had to look at it and say, I got to make a choice. Do I continue to do this work on YouTube for sort of honestly, YouTube is, you get really big or something. And what do you get out of it? A headache. You got to stay on the damn hamster wheel. And so I had to make the choice. I was looking at, and it was a hard choice. I was looking at the channel. The channel was doing really well. There's a couple months in 2022 where we did more views on the main channel that we have done in the 10 years that we've been doing Honey Badger Radio. And it was because I was focusing on solo content related to men's issues and current events. And we were getting lots of subs and stuff. But I was looking at that and I was like, well, I have to make a choice. Do I continue to do this, which is not something I love, not something that really inspires me? It is something that gets a lot of attention, and I feel bad that I walked away because, you know, I'm here to get attention for men's issues. Or do I pursue my writing? And I had to make that choice because, you know, they can say, oh, you can do both, but you can't do both. And if you think you can do both, I invite you to read some writing by YouTubers.
Well,
okay. I invite you to read some published writing from YouTubers.
Again, I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying that Pearl and Roma have a wide mainstream appeal. They're very. I'm not saying it's dumb. I'm saying that it's common sense, like stuff that the average person, the normie, is going to see it and they're going to know what that's about.
Yeah,
you know?
no, they like. Pearly, I would say, is a little bit more complex than Roma.
Yeah.
In terms of her ideas and a little bit more daring in voicing them.
Definitely.
But it's, you know, when I stumbled across Roma, it was just like, okay, but, you know, tell me something new, please. Right? You know, so what else is new? Like,
I mean, it's new to somebody, sure, but like...
Yeah, no, and it's why I go on radio shows and I don't make content for my channel. My thesis is there for anybody to look at.
Yeah.
If they want to watch it from start to finish, including my personal journey and the thought process, the evolution of my thought on these issues, right? Start at the first video and just go from there and just watch it. Like, watch the whole thing, but when you look at a situation like this, it's you know, tell me something I haven't heard before. You can do that,
or say something that no one else had the balls to say.
Or say something that nobody else is saying.
Yes,
or very few people are saying, because otherwise, it's just. I can find that content somewhere else.
Yeah,
right.
Sure.
And it's like, be original or be daring, one or the other. Roma is neither. Pearly is. I mean, she is a little bit original, at least in the sense of, you know, I think.
Holy
she
crap!
has,
well, she's also what?
This is the latest Pearl tweet. Who's more high value? Hitler, but he was loyal. MLK, but he cheated.
Oh. But you know what? That's a good thing to bring up. I know she's going to get in a lot of trouble for it, but that is a good thing to bring up, because I think what she's challenging is these like really generic two-dimensional narratives around historical figures. So we're supposed to love MLK unconditionally, period, full stop. You know, no matter what, even though his life is a lot more complex. Yeah, not just that, but, you know, other things. And we're supposed to hate Hitler hands down no matter what. And so
oh my God.
You know,
Hitler was not losing by that much.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
but Hitler, Hitler,
he was a feminist, though.
Pro-universal state-funded healthcare.
Yes.
Pro-animal rights.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't know about the truth about it.
He was a vegetarian.
Yeah, vegetarian, right? So
he wasn't like completely like everybody should be a vegetarian, but he was a vegetarian. Right, and he was against cruelty to animals.
Yep.
In any form.
Like Paul McCartney. Right? And they're basically the same.
Yeah, and Sarah McLachlan.
Yep.
I will remember you. Okay. Yeah, no. Hitler could have sung that on the freaking animal rescue.
This is a digression.
Advertisement.
This is a digression.
No, she's got a pair of brass balls.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, no.
Buttons.
Well, you know, it helps that she's a woman, though, too.
Yeah.
I mean, it gives her a shield, so she
Well,
can
she
go out
has-
there and do that.
Well,
her
'cause
balls are internal.
actually her balls
Yeah.
are actually made out of brass and not testes.
Ovaries. She has.
Yeah.
She's got broveries.
When you kick her in her brass balls, they're actually just brass, and it doesn't hurt.
Punch
Yeah.
you in the ovary, right in the baby maker.
Okay.
Straight
Yeah,
shot.
no, but that doesn't actually do anything because there's
No.
all these layers of like tissue.
some of
over
us
top
have
I was just
cushioning it.
I was just quoting Anchorman. All right, can we keep
Yes.
going? Let's keep going. All
Yes,
right.
let's
play some.
let's finish this off. But there's more fuck
Yeah,
here,
there's a lot
so just be
more.
careful.
I'm unsubscribing. Or they think that if I don't fuck with Pearl, that means that
Oh,
I
this
want
is
you
what
guys
she's
then.
afraid. She's
Yeah.
like, this is all. Let's lay down the groundwork for it's not my fault.
Yes.
Like
of course,
I
yeah.
don't have any agency. I'm like we went through this, Karen. You missed it, but she starts by basically saying the tides of time forced Pearl and I to come into conflict.
Yeah, yeah,
Pearl
yeah.
hasn't
No.
paid any attention to her. Like
Yeah.
it isn't my fault. It's some
Well,
force outside me that's
I
forcing me to my hand.
I think there is something, external that is making her feel like this, and it's probably a bunch of people going
Insecurity.
like, well, it's her own insecurity, but it's also there's also a bunch of her subscribers and a bunch of people that pay her bills, right? Who are saying, you're just gonna let her get away with that? You're just gonna let Pearly get away with that? You're just gonna like blah blah blah? You're just gonna like you're not even gonna
So
confront
what?
her? You're gonna blah blah blah? And that's what I have said over and over and over again. Fucking not my problem, right? If you got
Yeah.
a problem with that person, you go take it up with them. Not my fucking problem. Right? If there is somebody that I feel needs to be defended, that I feel they're not getting a fair shake and deserves my participation in their defense, right? That's a judgment that I make, okay? If I feel like someone is unjustly attacking somebody else, and that somebody else is suffering for it, right? I'll jump in, but I'm not gonna just do it to do it. No, I will be like, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna defend A Voice for Men. I'm gonna defend Paul Elam. I'm gonna say they're the vanguard that allows Cafe to operate within the main body of the army, right?
TFM.
Yeah. Sorry. A Voice for Men and Paul Elam,
Yeah.
right? They're the vanguard, right? And you get rid of them, you disavow them at your peril, because they're the ones creating the space for you to actually do your fucking work.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so you need to actually give your fucking head a shake.
Well,
If I see someone like who, right, saying he's going to come after HBR and decimate them because of some freaking random thing that you said.
I think? You know why one random thing that Mike said that then and honestly that was a good lesson in learning when just to walk the fuck away, which Roma has not learned apparently.
Yeah, but it's like I just basically I stated my case and I was like,
moved on.
and then I was just like, yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, but one of the reasons I think
I had a whole bunch of freaking Twitterites, right, descend on my feed, saying all kinds of nasty shit, and you know what my
Language.
comment was to all of them? Ooh, edgy. Ooh, original. Like, you got anything else?
Yeah.
No, you don't. And you know it. And he knows it. And that's why he's not going to make another video about us.
Mm-hmm. Well, also, the thing is that I don't think we got this, like, ship-to-ship comeback that was being expected because our audience does not defend me or you or anyone, really. Like what happens is that they'll take a salvo at a particular audience, and then the respective members of the audiences will start fighting, and they'll have a huge goddamn conflagration, and that just didn't happen because, you know, they would send their flying monkeys and their flying monkeys.
Oh yeah, no, and if
just
I
be,
think
like, ignored.
If I think somebody needs to be nuked from orbit, I'll do it, right? And that doesn't mean that I really don't care for myself, like in terms of myself, and because
but getting back to this, right? She's the one who's saying I'm just being forced to do it, right?
Yeah.
And you're not being forced to do it, Roma. You're choosing to own it.
No, just freaking let it go.
Okay,
just
and keep going. Let's keep going, Brian.
All right, I got some super chats, so I'm gonna read them really quick. Albert Native Retro gives us $5 Canadian and says, HBR inspired me to do my Hollywood's Me Too hypocrisy videos. Thank you for that. And then he gives another $5 and says, $5 Canadian, that is, and says they wouldn't have worked with MLK if they hadn't been so scared of Malcolm X, is what Karen said at Ryerson U regarding Paul Elam.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for that.
If Malcolm X was, if it was pick Malcolm X or MLK, they would have picked MLK, and that's what they did.
Okay,
the ironic thing is that MLK became more radical, and Malcolm X actually chilled the fuck out. So, but let's keep going.
To just not fuck with Pearl, and I just think that that's so fucking bitchy and so immature. So like, it used to bother me the fact that I would have an opinion about somebody and my followers would be like, oh,
stop. What's bitchy and immature? You see, this is why I say that she's saying
the idea of setting women against each other is bitchy and immature.
Okay, but what are you doing right now? Like, you could just be like, and furthermore, you've distorted Pearl's arguments, and you haven't fairly represented them, and then you've also seemed to have smeared conservatives with men who are misogynists and just want to take away women's rights for no reason than they just hate women, because that's really the undercurrent of all of this. Okay? And now you're saying it's not my fault, guys.
She's being forced to do it, and
I'm being forced to do it, and it's bitchy somehow, but I shouldn't be. What the hell did she mean by that statement? Please go back, Brian. I really have to understand.
Just
I'm sorry.
pay attention,
My
okay?
autism. I am paying attention.
Okay.
So immature. So like, it used.
I'll go back a little
What
bit
is
more.
so freaking immature?
With Pearl, and I just think that that's
so
fucking bitchy.
All right, let me just give it to you, okay? She's saying that I don't want to say that I don't fuck with Pearl, which means I don't, associate myself with Pearl, and then have my audience either, agree with me and abandon her, or disagree with me and abandon me. So essentially, she's saying, I don't want to give my opinion on this woman because it's going to influence my audience one way or the other, and I think that that's mature and bitchy. That's what she's saying.
Immature and bitchy. I don't get. I don't. That doesn't make any sense.
It's immature, and like her audience is probably like demanding that she pick sides or some shit.
No, she's assuming that her audience is demanding that, but like this is like before any of that even came out, because this is her, second video on the subject, and I think it might be because, and it's just a little bit of context, Roma mostly responded to, extremely easy to respond to TikTok videos of women saying crazy shit about men, like crazy misandrous shit. And then she would respond to that, and it was kind of obvious and easy to do. But then Kyle Rittenhouse happened. And when Roma gave her opinion on the Kyle Rittenhouse case, I mean, she got so much shit for it because she had a really awful take. That she lost a bunch of subscribers, and then she removed the video, and she was feeling attacked basically.
Oh fuck, she removed the video?
Yeah, she took it down. And because she was fucking wrong. I mean
no, when you're wrong, you leave it out there. You leave your ass out there showing your giant freaking dirty sweaty ass crack to everybody, and then you say, you know what? That was a bad take.
You're
I didn't have all the
inflamed.
information.
Your inflamed red ass, like just like a baboon. Just put it out there.
Like that diaper rash that I put out there, that like chronic ass crack yeast infection from my sweaty ass crack that I put out there. Yeah, that was a bad take because I didn't have all the information. I jumped the gun, you know, and now I'm correcting the record.
Yeah.
Now I, you know, because I was given more information, right?
I'm just trying to understand what the hell she's actually saying here. So
she's saying she's been forced into addressing this.
Yeah, but she's not been forced into addressing it. Could you just go back a little bit further, Brian?
Okay, all right. Just listen closely then.
Well, maybe put it like on
slow,
like normal speed.
All right. I'll put
it actually put it just or even just slow, like really slow.
We're old, Brian.
Yeah, we're old. We're old. I think actually I'm younger than you, Brian. But
yes. Well.
Okay, just a little bit. Go back. Just 4 seconds. 4 seconds. I'm going to figure this the fuck out. Yeah, just a bit more.
This is gonna be.
Posted it like a few weeks before this even happened because this just solidifies my opinion. And the thing that pisses me off about the internet is whenever, especially women, like as women, we get pinned up against each other quite a lot, right? Who's better, blah, blah, blah. And so if I voice an opinion about like Pearl, then people will be like, oh, I don't fuck with you, I'm unsubscribing. Or
okay, stop. Okay, yes, people will have an opinion of your opinion. I'm sorry life exists and reality is such a thing. Like, and like, are you gonna die if people unsubscribe? They're unsubscribing from my main channel right now for no other reason than the just general backdraft that YouTube has against our channels because, I don't know, we send people off of YouTube.
It's like, honestly, like, you need to just
chill.
Stop
caring,
What you need to do is you need to say what my mom said to me. They do what they do. You do what you do.
Okay. But I'm guessing this is anxiety-inducing for her, which is actually sort of, you know, I can sort of sympathize because it is. Go ahead.
If she's based her entire income on it, I can see why it would induce anxiety. Like, that's one of the reasons why I don't heavily monetize my work, right? Is then I'm not beholden to the whims of the audience.
Yeah. And that's in my case, that's why I focused on building a community and connections between the people, me, and the people that support us. Like, so it's not like...
Yeah, no, there's no way I would, like, run a Discord server with, like, 8,000 rooms.
Okay, maybe I have a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe I have an addiction to rooms. All right.
Yeah, you got a lot of rooms there.
I just want everything to be specific to its topic. Okay?
And
yes.
Except for our response videos.
But I think you got it figured out.
Yes, I finally
think that if I don't fuck with Pearl, that means that I want you guys then to just not fuck with Pearl. And I just think that that's so fucking bitchy and so immature. So like,
stop. That is the fuckery. Do you see that fucking fuckery?
Yes.
Okay, don't do anything. I need to isolate the fuckery. I've located it. I need to get the net out and capture that fuckery. She's saying that if she doesn't respond to Pearl, her audience will get the idea that she doesn't want them to fuck with her, with Pearl.
Right.
Okay, do you see the sheer level of fuckery that is? Does anybody else see this?
Do you know what she means when she says fuck with, though? You know what? Wait, do you... Wait.
From husband. Just give me a minute.
Do you know what Roma means when she says I fuck with or I don't fuck with? Do you know? Because it's
is
not.
There a special meaning?
It's not. Yes. So I don't know if you know, but when people say I fuck with so and so or I don't fuck with so and so, it doesn't mean I actually harass them or don't harass them. It means I hang with them or I agree with them, or I associate with them, or I don't associate with them.
Okay, so this is some slang that I misunderstood.
Yes, there's slang. When she says, I don't fuck with Pearl, that means...
I'm just having a boomer moment.
Yes, that means I don't associate with Pearl. It doesn't mean I don't harass Pearl. Does that make sense?
Okay, all right. Okay, so that makes a lot more sense now.
Yes.
It was just me, everyone.
I had a feeling there was boomer shit going on because I got it. Yeah. Because I'm from the streets and I know what it sounds like. So
okay, all right, okay, got it. So sorry guys, I had to drag you through my boomer moment.
Yeah. Looks like broveries over hoveries in the poll. Thanks, guys.
Ovaries. Ovaries over hoveries.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have broveries or hoveries? Oh, that should be the poll.
Yeah.
Does Pearl have broveries or hoveries? Who has broveries or hoveries?
All right.
Okay,
anyway. So anyway, let's play some more. That's the answer.
To bother me, the fact that I would have an opinion about somebody and my followers would be like, oh, well, now I don't fuck with you. It doesn't really bother me anymore. Because if you can't accept the fact that, like, people can have a difference in opinion, then, like, that's literally on you.
Okay, she has a difference of opinion with you.
Yeah. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit.
Yeah, why do we have to watch her drinking?
Yeah, I'm just jumping ahead past that. She mentioned somebody named Tin Men. Actually, I'm talking to that guy on Twitter. I'm going to be interviewing him on Wednesday. I hope that, we have a little bit of a back and forth, a little bit of a, because I mean, she fucks with him. See what I did there, Alison? So she hangs with him? Yeah, they're associated with each other somehow. I don't really know, but I'm gonna find out. So we'll see. All right. Anyway, that's
men's rights advocates like myself, like the Tin Men, like Matt, we work really, really, really fucking hard. Sorry, I had to pause it for a second. I really thought I was gonna piss myself. Anyway.
Okay. Oh, she had to go to the bathroom.
Anyways, people like the Tin Men, the Healthy Feminist, or Healthy Feminism, I think is her name on Instagram. I'll link all of these people below. Matt, myself, like, we work damn fucking hard to not just talk about men's rights of a level of, like, just the bare minimum, but we go into, like, statistics.
Brian, can I just, I think next time we do this, a response to Roma, maybe we should put it slower so that we avoid the algorithm instead of faster. Because
all right, well, yeah, sure. I mean, are you just not able to listen to this? Is it too fast?
Yes, and I find her, I don't know, the way that she speaks extremely confusing. Because every thought just merges into every other thought.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
We are looking at a thought. Okay. So. Goes into, so she's saying that these people they're, her and her the people she fucks with, they are doing men's rights the right way, I guess.
Why what these people are saying is harmful, what's the outcome, and we don't do it with this like fuck women vibe. I can come off a little like aggressive and a little out there, and I get that, so I understand why people perceive that I think that men can do no wrong.
I don't think that Pearl is saying fuck women either.
No.
I mean, she's not saying let's round up and kill all the women, single mothers and ugly women and women with high body counts. She's just saying they're less desirable. Okay?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but
as far as I can tell.
This is the thing though, when you say, "Oh, this person is doing a fuck women vibe," again, that goes back to what I said earlier about when you invoke misogyny. Oh, so and so is misogynistic. So she is saying Pearl crosses a line, and I don't know where the line is, except that she's actually proposing things that nobody wants to talk about, or they don't want to acknowledge, or it's a line they're not willing to cross because they're trying to. I think this is the thing with Roma, and I said this before many times, is that I think that she is trying to find a way for men's rights to be acknowledged while not attacking feminism. Like, you know what I mean? Like, while preserving it. That's why she said the Healthy Feminist or Healthy Feminism was one of the channels she recommended. Never heard of that channel, but I already hate it. So, I mean, I'm just saying, like, it sounds like, not real pure cocaine, more like synthetic cocaine. Like, it's okay.
I just want you to, if you would indulge me, could we please just play that video I sent you earlier today? I'll resend it to you.
What video?
It's from House Bunny.
Oh, F House Bunny? Sure.
Yes,
want me to
I
play
just
it right
resent
now?
it to you. Yeah, I want everybody to see this as she's saying about how she's not being forced to fight.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm moving the video over here.
All right, thank you.
I want to apologize for the fact that my microwave made my computer lose internet. So.
Oh,
no,
did?
it's okay. Don't worry about it, Karen. I know that you're actually doing grounded things as you speak with us about this internet dramas.
Oh, well,
okay.
All right.
the man needs to eat. So
this is a video from what is it? F House Bunny?
Yes. Men's
okay.
Rights Bunny.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's
just play the first couple seconds.
Sure.
Why? Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
This is Roma's comment on Pearl. And I don't... Okay, is she really shame... Okay, so what she said is, why does Pearl shame fat women?
If Pearl herself is fat.
As a fat little dumpling herself.
Yeah.
So this is the tenor of discourse we're talking about when when Roma is saying, "Oh, I don't want to attack Pearl. We just have differences of opinion." Really? Really? Is this the tenor of your conversation? First of all, I don't think JustPearlyThings is shaming fat women. Saying that fat women are less desirable is not shaming them. Also, I'd like to point something out. Where are your collarbones, Roma?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm going to tell you something. If I took my shirt off and I showed my collarbones and my shoulders, you would see muscle definition.
And bones.
You would see my collarbones. Okay? You might even see my rib bones above my breasts.
Yeah.
You have no basis to be casting aspersion about anybody being a plump little dumpling. Put you in a pool and look at your fat percentage, and I'm guessing Pearl's is lower than yours. There's my pitchy comment for
Shots fired.
It doesn't fucking matter.
No,
right?
it doesn't.
Like, it really doesn't, because
no, it doesn't.
You're not in this to be, sexually attractive to.
But she
men.
is. She is. And also, when she's going to come on and say things like, I'm not here to be a bitchy, or I'm going to be called, people are going to call me bitchy. Well, yes, because you're being a bitch. All right?
Yep.
You are lowering the tenor of discourse. I'm saying this, you're lowering the tenor of discourse to bitchery and thoughterry.
Cat
and you're also saying things like, I've seen Pearly Things. She probably has a higher lean body mass than you, Roma. Okay? She is a big woman. Probably a former athlete. She's muscular.
No, she
got shoulders.
She played college basketball.
Okay, so she's probably athletic.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to throw that shade, I wouldn't. You may be thin, but you don't look like you have a low body fat percentage.
You're a little doughy.
You're doughy.
No, and it's just like, and if you don't ever make your physical appearance an issue, right? Then that's fine. You can be some 80-year-old lady who goes without makeup, and she's overweight.
And you don't cast shade on other people for their physical appearance. And like I said, I've been reading Pearl's tweets.
I've never heard Aaron Pitsy complain that Elizabeth Hobson pays too much attention to her appearance.
Mm-hmm.
Elizabeth Hobson wants to look professional.
Yeah, and she also wants to look attractive. She does.
She is. She's pretty. And she's also covered in tattoos, but she's classy.
Yeah, well, and like the one thing that I envy about Elizabeth Hobson is she has normal feet. So she can just buy whatever shoes.
Well, I mean,
no, I got you. As a woman of sizable feet, I understand your pain.
As a woman with like bunion encrusted duck feet, you know, like I'm living in the same pair of shoes I bought 4 years ago.
Okay, well, ultimately, my point is this: Pearl looks like she's a big woman, but she looks like she's not necessarily fat. She is, and she probably has the same problem I do. Like
muscular, wide back, wide rib cage, wide shoulders.
Yeah, and when you have that, you can't gain weight at all. And you have 2 states: muscular. Well, you got 3 states: fat, muscular, or bony. And Pearl looks like she's in the muscular state, so she's not fat. Okay, and I'm really tired of small women with like a 50% body fat count saying things like, oh, look at her, just because she's a big rib cage.
She's not shapely. Yeah, no, but it's like I don't really care because Pearl's looks are not.
Yeah, but I know they're not important. But they're important.
Well, they're important to Roma, but it's like basically Pearl is not out there right now trying to snag a man, right? Like when she's doing her videos, when she's doing her live streams, when she's talking in public, she's not doing it. She's not on a date. She's not on a fucking date. She's actually like doing a job. Right? And when I was working in a kitchen, there was this one female chef that I worked with, and I was like, how the hell do you stand wearing makeup in the kitchen? Like, how can you stand that? Right? I can barely stand working. You get coated in grease, you're covered in burns, right? You're sweating, you know, and like, why would you even apply makeup, right? Like, go home after your shift, have a shower, put on makeup, and go out, right? Like, nobody in a kitchen should be wearing makeup. Like, what the fuck are you thinking?
Yeah, but anyway, the reason why I brought this up is because she's saying, the force is beyond my control, and I'm going to be perceived as being bitchy. Well, Roma,
you're kind of being bitchy.
You kind of being bitchy. You're kind of being bitchy over something you have no right to be bitchy about, because I'm pretty sure if Pearly ever displayed her shoulders, you would probably see definition and collarbones. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So don't even go there. All right. Let's do a little bit more.
Well, I got some super chat with some super chats. So
okay.
Here's a super chat from John. He's John Cena. And this is actually Richard Bier. He says, actually, Roma was forced to attack Pearl the same way that the Roman Catholic Church was forced to persecute those who were deemed to be heretics, those possessed by demons, those who were in league with the devil, and those who practiced witchcraft. Thank you, Richard. And then Xeranx gives us $5 and says, Alison, collarbone, or I unsubscribe, don't make me do it. With a devil smiley face or horny face
who
or
said
whatever
that?
it is. Xeranx. Don't. If you turn on your camera, I'm not gonna be able to display it. So.
No, I'm not gonna do. What do you think I'm gonna just freaking?
I don't know. Flash your collarbone. Okay. What do you think this is? The 1900s?
You know what? Chell, if you can actually show the fucking camera, let me see if this is show.
It's not working because I'm sharing something right now, so I can't do that. And then Rusty Camper, sorry Xeranx, I'm not doing it. Gave us this is a family show.
Only Brian could see my collarbones.
We don't flash collarbone on this show.
My collarbones are for my husband only.
Rusty Camper gives us £5, and it looks like a peach or an eggplant lifting dumbbells, and he's saying, "Keep it up." Thank you, Rusty Camper.
I think that might have implied that Brian is Lindsay's husband. Jonathan is my husband.
Right. All right. So anyway, now we can get back to the video.
Yes.
All right.
But I work really hard to show, the both side of things. And I don't think that men are perfect. They're not perfect. There's a lot of really scummy men in the world, just like there's a lot of really scummy women. So when people like Pearl come in and say stupid shit like that, it just makes it so much harder for the rest of us because everybody else is going to label the men's rights movement and attach that image to people like her.
She's not a men's rights activist.
Yeah, but what she's saying is, this is the thing that I run across all the time, is that other people that are sort of adjacent or talking about similar things, they will get lumped in if it's convenient. Well, yeah, but I'm just explaining where it comes from. They'll say
no.
Okay,
Roma is
right.
literally appropriating this as a men's. She's literally saying that this woman is somehow going to be a danger to men's rights, even though she doesn't identify as a men's rights activist.
Yeah.
And her talking points aren't related to men's rights activism. It's simply just saying, well, these types of women don't have the same amount of sexual value as these other types of women.
Yeah.
So at most, she's angling towards feminine ego, specifically the women who Roma is a part of. She's essentially denigrating the sexual marketplace value of Roma. And Roma is saying, look at what she's doing to men's rights. No. You are trying to get men riled up based on this false narrative that JustPearlyThings is a danger to men's rights. No. Yes, people are going to falsely connect what she's saying to men's rights activism. They've already connected pedophilia, bestiality, violent misogyny, genocide, everything.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're connecting, I don't know,
anything.
slut shaming.
That women aren't as attractive.
Yeah,
women are more attractive in their 20s than in their 30s.
Oh my God, folks. They're going to think that men's rights activists think, women with high body counts are, yes, they're going to, this is the shallow end of the pool, dear.
This is fucking hilarious too, because like Pearly, she put out a tweet, women in their, or somebody put out a tweet, quote tweeting her, right? And saying, saying ahem or something like that, and posting a picture of herself, right? Age 38 or something like that, right? Pearly was saying women are more attractive in their 20s than in their 30s, right? She's like, I'm 38, right? And posts this picture of herself, right? Looking like she's in her 20s. And it's like, way to prove Pearly right. Wow, women who are particularly well preserved, right? And then a whole bunch of other women were posting pictures of themselves, on Twitter, right? Looking like they were in their early to mid 20s, and then stating their ages. Oh, I'm 35. I'm 38. I'm 42.
Pearl.
Right?
Yeah,
and I look like I'm 24, right? And that proves you wrong, because I'm a hottie at age 42. And it's like, yeah, because you look like you're fucking 24. You fucking do you
You're making
even
her
think,
point.
Do you think before you tweet? Are you dumb? And I actually posted that. Are you dumb? Did you think before you posted this? Because the only reason you think you're a hottie is because you look like you're in your 20s, right? So you're just proving her right, and then she deleted the tweet.
Yeah, exactly. That Lauren Chen made a video about that, and I watched it, and I was like, why are you guys so concerned with what Pearl says? Like, why, the fact that you have to come out there and debunk her. Watch this, I got a picture of myself debunked. It just tells me, like, how
here's me
insecure
and
you
Pearly.
are. It's like, why?
Here's
what do you
me and Pearl side by side.
You're generalizing women. I'm going to disprove that with this picture of myself.
This is generalization of women.
Yeah.
Pearl is not a stunner, okay? She's just not.
She knows it.
Yeah, no, she knows it. She's not a stunner. She's in her 20s. She's not the most attractive woman, right? She's arguably too tall, right? Mm-hmm. She's arguably too muscular and muscly and athletic, right?
And she's a ginger, which is like...
And she's a ginger. She's got skin that's not going to age very nicely, right? All of those things. And so it's like she understands where she's at. I don't think she gives a fuck. right?
Yep.
Like she knows
Driving
that
these women nuts because of that. That's what's driving them nuts.
Yeah, no, because she doesn't wear makeup a whole lot. Maybe a little sometimes, like when she's going on like freaking Jubilee or whatever, right?
Yeah, well, when she was on Piers Morgan, I'm pretty sure they put some makeup on her because she was looking pretty good.
Yeah, but it's just like, yeah, no, it's like, it's not.
She'd actually, with good makeup, she probably would be she'd be like an Uma Thurman or a.
Oh no, like
Julia Roberts.
No, not a Julia Roberts, but she'd be like what's her name? That other ginger, a Jodie Foster or the Jodie Foster wannabe, the one who was in The Big Lebowski.
Oh, Julianne Moore.
Yeah,
she's hot. Man, Julianne Moore is.
No, Julianne Moore is not hot.
Yeah, she is.
No,
this is a stupid argument.
She was pretty hot. Well, back in in her prime, I like Julianne.
Okay,
no,
people have different taste.
No, but
as a man, I think my taste counts for more.
Julianne Moore was nothing special.
Okay, but also the reason why I'm saying this is because discussing who finds what attractive is an endless freaking argument.
Sure, and there's the odd woman who actually gets more attractive as she gets older, right?
Okay.
Rachel Weisz, more attractive as she got older.
I think she peaked in The Mummy, but I'll take it.
No, she actually peaked in Enemy at the Gates.
She was hot in that too.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the one that she did with Hugh Jackman about the Fountain of Youth, she peaked in that. I think that was like her prime. And then there was the other one, Charlize Theron, 2 Days in the Valley.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
No. Now she's just like a freaking stunner, but yeah, and complaining that nobody wants to date her because she is way too old.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, but let's get back to the.
I want to actually make my freaking point.
Okay.
Okay. What this is, all of this contention around Pearly, is that she is not playing the game. Right? There's like, oh, you're an unattractive woman. You need to be part of the block. You need to be part of the union. You need to play the game. You need to support the idea that men's attractions are unacceptable. And she doesn't. She's just like, yeah, men are attracted to what they're attracted to. I am not necessarily that. I'm still going to say the truth. Right?
Yeah.
And on the other thing is that what Roma seems to be doing here is doing this. Pearly is insulting women like me. She's questioning the sexual market value of women like me, and that is a threat to men's rights. How egotistical. What, are you disagree, Karen?
No, it's like I'm that it does seem to be like a huge undercurrent underlying all of this. It might even be the primary motivation.
The last time I'm gonna say the last time that we covered a Roma video was a while back. I said the same thing. I said that Roma is trying to put herself in the position of being the leader of her men's movement, so that anyone else who speaks in the same space, she is going to target and judge and say this person is worthy or this person is unworthy. Even though people have been talking about these issues for a very long time, way longer than I've been doing it, going as far back as the 60s probably. But she wants to be the final arbiter of who gets to do men's rights. And that's how she would frame it. And then she also means that she gets to decide what the qualities of that person is. And because she brings feminism into it, this is why she is a problem, because she is gatekeeping, right? So that's what I said this, like when we did the video, it was maybe a year ago, a couple years ago. Yes. I said, this is what she's doing. And you can see it here because now Pearl has, I think she's got more subs than Roma. I'm not sure. They're really close.
Or they're really close.
But now that she's like serious competition and she's doing things in a different way, she has a different approach. Pearl takes a lot from guys like Kevin Samuels, rest in peace, and other sort of men from this space. And I know people are going to say that this makes Pearl phony, but the truth is, Kevin Samuels has been saying that stuff for a long time, but he was a man, so nobody paid attention. A woman starts saying it, everyone pays attention. That's just the reality. We only know that because that's the way it is. So don't get mad at, like, Pearl because she's saying what Kevin Samuels already said before, because the fact is, when Kevin Samuels was saying it, or when all these other men were saying it, nobody wanted to talk. They didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to listen to it. They didn't want to give him a platform. They just demonized him from afar.
It couldn't go mainstream.
Yeah, it had to be a woman. It had to be a woman.
Yeah, no, and like, you know, what was my comment, you know, when I first started out, and, you know, people were kind of simping in the comments and, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, you know, you're so right, and blah, 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 and you're just amazing and everything. And I was just like, I'm just standing on the shoulders of a whole bunch of men who came before me. Right? And, you know, like, I will say now that I have my own ideas and I have my own ways of putting all of these ingredients together, but I didn't make the ingredients, right? Those were provided to me by male thought leaders in this movement when I entered into it. And yes, I've made some interesting cakes out of that, but cake is still cake, and it still has all of those same ingredients. Right?
Yeah,
so,
right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, anyway, should we continue? I have another.
Sure.
Oh no, that's I already read that one. Okay, let's keep going. A little bit more, I guess.
To people like Andrew Tate, and honestly, it's so fucking frustrating because men's rights matter so much. Like, okay, Pearl, you think that women shouldn't have the right to vote. You want to put women in these extreme gender boxes, but yet you say you advocate for fathers.
Really?
How?
Voting's not a right. I'm just gonna say that once. It's not a right.
It's a privilege of citizenship.
It's a privilege. It's a responsibility more than anything else.
Well, it's something that has always been contingent on one's status within society as a citizen.
Yes.
So, like I said, you could have a situation like Starship Troopers. You could have a situation like Vivek Ramaswamy wants, which is if you want to vote, you have to pass the same civics exam that new immigrants have to pass in order to become citizens.
Or read all of Thomas Sowell's and Milton Friedman's books, for God's sakes.
No, but what I'm saying is, if you are going to participate in self-government, right, you should at least be able to say how your government operates.
You know what I find really interesting about her tattoos, and this might be shallow, but when you see her lift her chin, you see a thin
her double
line.
chin disappears. But
you see a thin line along her jaw, right?
Yeah.
I'm not even talking about a double. So she deliberately tattooed this thin line along her jaw, which functions the same way as like a pinstripe, like a really thin
pinstripe
beard to emphasize her jaw. So she literally tattooed herself in order to look better visually on film.
Yeah.
There's no other reason to have such a thin line. It's not aesthetically pleasing in terms of the design. It's that's really fucking weird. Sorry, I just noticed that. Okay.
Spurring out again. All right, so I got Super Chow from anonymous apparently. All right, and they say for $5, height isn't a concern for men. Men don't really care about height. Women are the ones who care about height. Most men won't turn down a woman that's taller than them. Also, Salma Hayek and Jennifer Lopez age nicely. Yeah, but they're insufferable. Sorry. Some Latino women are just like really insufferable. But what's her name from Modern Family? She seems all right. I forget her name though. You know what I'm talking about. Sofia Vergara. Yeah. Sofia Vergara, yes.
But and yet, okay, so women in these extreme gender boxes, but yet say you advocate for fathers. How? Blah blah blah.
Well, you want me to play the rest, or she's
saying? Yeah.
Okay.
can that be when, if we're going back to a traditional time where women didn't even have the right to vote, well, men didn't have equal access to their children. They still don't.
Yes,
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Good Lord, what the hell? You are a men's rights activist and you don't know about the tender years doctrine? Or you don't know about all of the diaries from Victorian era that talk about very involved fathers? Or the fact that at some point, children would be involved in the occupation of their fathers that had plenty of time with their dads, or the fact that when you do surveys of more traditional cultures around the world, men are involved with their children's lives. Like the children are spending maybe 35% of their time with women, 30% with their dads, and then the rest with the general community. Like, you don't know this stuff?
Yeah, no, and you don't know that, like, in extremely traditional Islamic cultures under Sharia law, that yes, up to age 8, children of divorce go with the mother, but then after age 8, they go to the dad, because they have a version of the tender years doctrine. That does not mean mom gets custody forever and dad gets nothing. That means that during those tender formative years where the mother's nurturing is seen as more necessary, the mother gets those kids in most cases. And then at the age of 8, they go to the dad automatically into his custody so that he can bring them into adulthood, right? That's how that shit works, right? This idea that, like, kids belong with the mother forever until they're 35, 40 years old, right? Until they're graduated from college, right? Dad doesn't deserve any kind of rights to those children. Yeah, that is a modern innovation. That is like something that started in 1865, was ratified in 1885, and continued on. And that was the first pre-wave. That was the pre-wave of feminism. That was, we think of suffragettes as the first wave. Well, there was proto-feminism before that. And that was what it was. Carolyn Norton, tender years doctrine. Kids need to be with their moms, and dads only matter in terms of, how they can support the family financially. And you see this now in Florida's alimony reform law that just passed. DeSantis just signed it into law, where it's lifetime alimony is gone now. Right? It's no longer a thing, and all of these women who are 63 and still collecting alimony from husbands who will never be able to retire. They're complaining that it's anti-family. How the fuck do you figure that? Divorce is anti-family.
Okay, so let's see the next nugget of how the hell is she a men's rights activist? She doesn't know
ideology that men are just the providers. Men are saying, I want equal time with my children. So, like, you're also going back to the time in which
you want to hear something hilarious? What was the first state in the U.S. that I had heard of that brought in equal parental, shared parenting legislation? It was either Oklahoma or Kentucky. I forget which. But that was the state that first instituted shared parenting legislation. Right? It's red states that have implemented shared parenting for the most part. States with red legislatures, maybe not a red governor, but red legislatures who have implemented this, right? And it is, if you look at alimony reform, child support reform, all of these other things, right? It's the Ungendering of the Violence Against Women Act. That was a Republican bill. That was a Republican reauthorization bill back in 2012. 2012. It had to be reauthorized, and the Democrats wanted a bill that was even more gendered in women's favor, and they just had an illegal funding clause in it, right, that made it unconstitutional. So it was kiboshed, and the Republican bill ungendered a whole bunch of the clauses on benefits and protections and all of that. That was the one that had to be adopted because they couldn't adopt the Democrat one. And it was either adopt the Republican one or don't renew it at all. Right? And so that was the one that got passed. So all of these, like, and what have I been saying for a decade or more? Democrats are handing all of these issues to Republicans. They're handing them all to Republicans because they just, and I'm not giving Rick Scott a break for vetoing 2 alimony reform bills that passed both houses with flying colors, right? And then vetoed them, 2 of them. Not giving Ron DeSantis a pass for vetoing 1, but he at least frickin' signed this most recent one into
alimony. What about
into
alimony?
law?
Yeah.
No more lifetime alimony.
Yeah.
On topic, so.
Yeah, off topic. Shall we?
No, it's on
play-
topic. This is 100% on topic. It's just really deep lore. Deep mental lore.
You have to really understand, like,
and we know that she
rights
doesn't.
activists are trying to pull people in, right? Where do we go? We go to Republicans. We go to conservatives. We go, and those are the only places where I've been invited to speak. Libertarian conferences, conservative conferences, freedom minded conferences like the Liberty Project in New Hampshire, or the Freedom School conferences here in Alberta, right? Who was it? The premier, the new premier of Alberta. She's the leader of the Conservative Party in Alberta. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
She emceed a freaking men's rights conference in Calgary.
Yeah.
A few years ago, right? Like, they're open to these ideas. They're open to, like, actually getting the fabric of society back together in some kind of coherent way. Right?
Good.
Yeah, and they might not be, like, fully on board. They might have to be dragged kicking and screaming.
Well, they're still blue pills.
But you can actually drag them.
Yes.
They'll kick and they'll scream, but you can drag them.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a little bit disturbed by the sudden willingness to allow radfems back into any kind of fold. But regardless, let's get some more of this done.
Yeah,
you can let them back in, but you got to rub their faces in it.
Yeah.
No, the whole transgender thing, that was a Pandora's box. You filled it.
No, it's bigger than that. I'm
it.
talking about radfems. Like, I'm talking about these genocidal lunatics. Like, they should answer for some kind of more than just the gender ideology crap, because the shit that they do, they are like, I put a toe into that water, and I realize now that all of those lesbians that tortured, raped, and murdered their boys, yeah, they were part of a cult that believes that is a correct thing to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it really depressed the hell out of me.
I think that's gonna come to light too, but let's keep going.
Currently trying to break out of still, where men can't be domestic violence victims, they can't be victims of rape. Like, these are ideologies that men's rights advocates fight against every single day and try to break down. And when somebody as fucking stupid as Pearl comes up here and says something as idiotic as that, like, I'm not even the biggest fan of Piers Morgan.
Something as idiotic as Roma's sexual marketplace value isn't as good as what is that? Like, yeah, this is the shallow
petty.
end of the pool.
Yeah, this is getting pretty petty. But yeah, let's go a little bit more. So she's like, I'm not even a big fan of Piers Morgan, okay?
Okay, for like my own reasons, but like, it takes a special kind of somebody to go on his show and like make him not look like the bad guy for once. You know what I mean? So like, at the end of the day, I know that my community.
Why would you think Piers Morgan is the bad guy? Like, I don't agree with everything he says. I think he's a pompous ass a lot of the time, and like full of himself and full of bullshit. But like when he's right, he's right.
I kind of like that. He does try. Like, we went through the Piers Morgan, Pearl, and that other feminist woman. They had this three-way conversation, and Piers was challenging Pearl, but he wasn't like. I think he was just kind of like the normie in the room. The feminist was being really bitchy, but like,
the pinnacle of the bitchiness was when Pearl was talking about her beliefs on the draft and voting, and the feminist said, "Well, I don't have
the muscle mass that you have.
I don't have the frame to be able to be in the army, unlike you
might.
Pearl.
You might.
You might.
Yeah.
I swear to God, this
really,
you wouldn't literally about sexual marketplace value.
No, and it's like, okay, feminist bitch, you couldn't sit in a safe location on a fucking chair all day and fly drones. You couldn't do that. You couldn't type emails. You couldn't.
Yeah, no. But the point is
you
that
couldn't fill in spreadsheets.
The point is that she was putting in a jab based on.
Oh, of course. Yeah, no, because Pearl's like a very mannish, burly woman. She's a burly woman.
I really sort of like that weird gold rose thing behind her. I've been looking at that, and I know it probably means I'm tasteless, but
yeah, no, you got no freaking taste whatsoever.
That shit is corny as hell.
Yeah, I don't know, but there's a part of my heart that likes corny shit.
If she had a painting of Elvis on black velvet,
or like one of those skunks or hobos. Like the
have you ever seen playing poker?
Do you remember the hobos, the velvet paintings, the creepy clowns? Anyway.
Yeah, dogs.
Yeah.
Or
my grandma
dogs
had
playing
those.
poker. Dogs playing poker.
Or all of the like Spanish stuff.
Yeah, or the stuff with like peacocks and like just so overdone. All right, anyway, we're really on the weeds, so we're almost done here.
Not agree with such a disgusting blanket statement such as like women shouldn't have the right to vote, because equality means accepting
coming
equal
back to this.
Yeah, well, equality means equal responsibility. Yeah, of course it does.
Yeah, it's not a disgusting blanket statement. She said like it's we've got a couple of options here to make things actually equal. Women could be draftable, or they could give up their right to vote, or we could make the vote dependent on your willingness to serve, right? So maybe selective service is voluntary and you take your chances, right? And you sign up for it. Maybe you get called, maybe you don't, right? But you're on the roster and you get the right to vote.
Okay, this is like, is she honestly?
Maybe we just have a baby draft. This is the thing. This is the thing that I am. That you remember Democracy Now? I think it was.
Yeah, the woman who interviewed us.
Yeah, in London, and she was like, "Oh well, but women have to give birth to the new generation of soldiers," and I'm like, "No, they fucking don't. When has there ever been a baby draft?"
The replacement rate is so low now that human beings are officially an endangered species. Not even joking.
And I'm like, no, there hasn't. There never has been. There has never been a situation in which the government told women, you will lie down, spread your legs, and give birth, right? Or we're going to run you up a fucking gibbet.
Yep.
Okay.
Never, where the government has said that. No. And now we have a situation where women have 27 different ways of preventing themselves from having a baby, right? And it's like, don't you fucking give me that shit, right? The contract to have a baby existed between a woman and a man, and she was trading that in exchange for his individual, full financial and physical support. So provision and protection, right? For her and the children, right? That was the contract. A woman didn't have to get married if she didn't want to. A woman who is married now doesn't have to have any babies if she doesn't want to. There's never been a fucking baby draft. There has only ever been, what they did in the Korean War with nurses.
Sure.
They were considering in the Korean War. They were considering a nurse draft, a draft of women to be military nurses.
Didn't some countries pay women to have babies?
They didn't have to do that.
No,
because
but they just
had a recruitment campaign saying, please volunteer, and enough women stepped up and did it, right? And they do incentivize women to have babies. They give us tax breaks, they give us tax rebates, they give us all kinds of other benefits in order to have children, right? They do that. But that isn't force. That's not holding me down and inseminating me and forcing me to give birth. Right. That is just setting up the incentives in such a way that I might decide that, yes, this is right for me. Or, yes, I wanted to do this, but I didn't think I could. But with this extra money and this extra help, I can.
All right. Let's get back and finish this.
Yeah. All right. Almost done, I think.
Where's the baby
Men
draft?
don't want to, fuck you to women. Go back to being oppressed. Men want equality.
What?
And it's...
Back to being oppressed. Back to being oppressed.
Okay, all right, so Roma believes
that women were oppressed
at one point in history.
Yep.
That means she believes that men stopped oppressing women at this time, presumably because of some external factor.
Because feminists made them.
Feminists made them. Okay, she's like, you can't seriously advocate for men while believing that men would choose to participate in a system of oppression of women or perpetuate a system of oppression of women. That is their mothers, their sisters, their daughters, etc. And that is a system of oppression would be one in which you sacrifice women for the benefit of men. That is one in which women are doing the most dangerous jobs. One in which, even if women are weaker than men, they're being used as cannon fodder. One in which women starve while men eat. And not just, men get more nutritional support, as in, growing boys eat more.
And men need more calories just in general, and then they're doing the most physical work.
Yeah, not that. Literally, women starve so men can eat. No, that has never been the case throughout history. No society would last under those principles. No society lasts unless women get the resources they need to produce the next generation. Therefore, we have an incentive, which we see in every single person's attitude towards men and women. They would prefer men to be sacrificed. They would prefer men to experience pain and be harmed and lose out and starve rather than women experience those things. And that is a consistent effect across cultures. So no, women were never oppressed. If you believe that, how can you be for men? How can you honestly believe that men would construct a society that forces women into the sacrificial roles, the roles of starvation, deprivation, and war?
Violence.
And violence. And you look at, who was on the street during the Great Depression? Who was in the trenches during World War I? How can you look at that and say, men were oppressing women? Roma, grow the fuck up.
Yep.
24-year-old twat.
Language.
Okay.
Well, twat's not really a bad word.
No,
my grandmother used it as
a
a Scrabble word once.
It's a poop mouth word.
No, my grandmother. Used it as a Scrabble word once.
Poop.
Poop mouth.
Poop mouth. Poop mouth.
Okay, we're going.
All right, let's keep going.
Shows everywhere. The feminists are just refusing to see it, and then other people who are claiming to speak for men's rights are just speaking about the exact opposite. Men's rights is about saying to men, look.
Yeah, I know. You're not doing men's rights the way I think you're supposed to do it.
Nobody is advocating for a society that puts men first at the expense of women. Nobody.
Nobody.
Except, no.
Nope.
No, not even.
Nope.
No.
No.
One.
Nobody. Some people are calling for some, like at worst, and I don't even think this is necessarily bad, a return to some kind of natural order, like Jesse Lee Peterson talks about. But even then, it's not about oppression. It's about, like, organizing things. And he has a specific view on what that should be, but he's not forcing it on anybody, so I don't really give a shit.
You know, like, okay, the guy that I dated, Marty, he put it bluntly, right? Why the fuck am I paying this woman $70,000 a year? Okay? $70,000 a year. Our two kids, since they've been like 15 and could decide where they want to live, right, have been living with me. Okay?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to live with her. But she still legally has custody, so I still have to pay her alimony and child support. Why the fuck am I paying her $70,000 a year when she's not coming over to my house, right? And cooking and cleaning. Cooking, cleaning, laundry, anything. She doesn't even have to freaking tug my dick, although that would be nice, right? But what the fuck am I getting out of this bitch that is worth $70,000 freaking dollars a year?
Yeah. I get it.
Right? And for anybody to say that ending lifetime alimony is anti-family, what the fuck is that family? He and his two kids were the family. She's living on her own like a fucking queen by herself, earning money under the table, babysitting other people's kids and shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, if men are expected to be responsible for women, which they are, then they have to have authority over them. Otherwise,
or the women have to be equally responsible for them.
or the women have to be equally responsible.
Go over three times a week. Go over to his house 3 times. If you want your alimony, go to his house 3 times a week. Cook, clean, laundry, dick tugging.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Right?
Or
You don't have to.
relationship.
You don't have to pretend to like him.
Yeah.
You don't have to stay the night. Just freaking show up, do the fucking service. Right? That's the reason he's paying you. And then fuck off to your own place.
Or
because all you are is a prostitute who's still collecting on like
a prostitute with tenure.
Yeah, with tenure. She's still collecting on the work she did like freaking 18 years ago.
Yeah.
All right. Let's keep going.
All right, let's go.
It doesn't matter if you want to be hyper-masculine. It doesn't matter if you're gay. It doesn't matter who you are, what you like, how you talk. It doesn't give anybody a right to look at you and be like, does that make you a real man? Like, it's about allowing men to step out of a gender box, okay? So...
No. Oh, good Lord.
Nobody says that. I'm so sick of this shit.
I hate this. Okay, we're going to free you men by giving you absolutely no positive qualities that you actually bring to society. I mean, God, if we said that men were honorable... that would be a box. No, we're freeing you from that box. So what we're going to say instead is that men are defined by criminality and mental illness. Isn't that freeing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and addiction and like, yeah.
Yeah, and
abuse.
Whatever Andrew Tate is.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
All right, let's go.
Well, if we're gonna tell women to get back in their gender box, then how the fuck can we sit here and advocate for men to not be looked at as just dicks, piggy banks, providers, disciplinary?
Mm.
How can we advocate for?
She's saying
dicks,
that we want
banks, providers, disciplinarians.
Yeah, she's saying that we want women to go back in their gender box.
Get back in the kitchen. I think Karen might be talking to us from her kitchen, but
no, the living room.
You're on the couch. I know.
Yeah, but the issue is right with the vote, right? Well, that would pull women out of their gender box, right? Mm-hmm. Because the gender box that they're in right now is I get shit for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I get paid to exist, right? I collect gibs just for being female. I have the magic vagina and it entitles me to things. that other people have to earn. That's the female box we want women out of. That's the gender box we want women out of. Earn your fucking keep, women. And if you do that through a traditional role of, you know, being a partner with a man and providing him with benefit and keeping a home and helping your community and all of those things, right, that were traditionally expected of women, right, maintaining familial relationships and all of those things, right, if you want to do that in the traditional way, right, that was generally expected of women, more power to you. If you want to do it through a career, go ahead. If you want to do it through your own independence, sure. If you want to earn your keep and earn your rights and earn your privileges and earn your entitlements through military service, fine. You know, Canada, during World War I, we had a draft. And, but you know what? We decided that with the act of Parliament that passed the draft legislation, right, that even though the franchise was only open to people 21 and over, that anyone serving in the military, past or present, from at age 18, male or female, had the right to vote. Because we were like, it's not fair to ask, to demand people do this, to force people to do this, or even to ask them to volunteer to do this without giving them some reciprocal benefit. Some say.
I recently looked into the law around the vote in Saskatchewan, which is where I live, and apparently women whose male partners or male relatives were serving during World War I had the right to vote.
The whole of Canada had that.
Oh, really? So the whole of Canada during World War I.
If you were the wife, the mother, or the daughter, if you were the immediate next of kin, the primary next of kin of a man who was serving, you had the right to vote.
Wow. So
if he was not available to cast a vote.
Women, so the way that it worked for originally aristocratic men, they put skin in the game. They had a right to determine the course of a nation's, the course they took in, whether or not there was peace or war. And then the yeomen got the right to determine whether or not there was peace or war because they had to go to war. And then black men in the Civil War fought. They got to determine. Then poor men during World War I, they got to determine. But women just got it because their male relatives made the sacrifice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's...
Well, because it was impossible to vote from a trench in, like...
No, but it was actually also that they just enfranchised them, too, after the war as well, I think. Okay, we have... a
little bit more to go. We're almost done here, I think.
We're almost done, then we never have to deal with this again.
Ooh, it is so frustrating. Anyways, I am going to get prepared to make this video, so maybe I'll just, take a shower first, calm down. Because this shit just really irritates me. There are people who work really, 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 really hard, and we don't deserve...
And you don't speak for us?
No, she
don't
doesn't
speak for us.
She doesn't acknowledge us. So.
And Pearl's opinion about the sexual market value. I know you're going to say this is petty, Brian, but I swear to God, this is what this is. Pearl's opinion about the sexual market value of women like you is not a men's issues and has nothing to do with the men's community. Okay.
Well, it has everything to do with the men's community.
Yeah, sorry, the men's issues community.
Yeah, men's rights.
Yeah.
No, it's not a men's right thing, but it is useful information that men probably would like to know. So, and by the way, guys, thanks for the votes.
Women too.
I booped the snoot since everyone voted in favor of booping the snoot. So, JoJo is out now. Anyway, so we'll just finish it off. Yeah, I think this is over, but let me just see.
Men don't deserve to talk about their issues in society, to talk about men's rights, and then have some fucking feminists and be like, oh, men's rights? Oh, you mean this men's rights advocate? The one who thinks that women shouldn't even have the right to vote? Like, you're doing everybody such a fucking disservice, Pearl, and you're a coward. Like, you're a coward. Everybody, including myself,
Really?
was confused as to why you blocked me, why you didn't want to work with me, and it's fucking clear now.
Wait, what? So she's saying that Pearl blocked her based on this?
Well, she said that in the beginning of the video.
Super chat.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a super chat. She said a donation.
Whatever.
So we don't know if it was a super chat.
Oh, she was in the chat, though. She gave a $300 donation.
Yes.
She was in the chat, and nobody noticed her.
Horrible Pearl. She's not paying attention to Roma.
Yeah, basically.
She also, completely without consulting Roma's, questioned the sexual market value of women like Roma. You know, like, and this is a men's issue, guys. And we're going to be, this is the hill that the men's rights community is going to die on after having been referred to as genocidal, terroristic, causing school shootings and mass murders and being pedophiliac and being excusing like rapists and all this other shit that's been flung at us. The fact that Pearl says certain women are less attractive it's going to be the thing that sinks us, guys. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Pearl is saying that women like Roma are less attractive.
And that Pearl thinks that women should have to earn their right to vote collectively.
Yeah, and she doesn't know how to solve that particular problem. She just thinks it is a problem. And everybody she's talked to seems to think that she has to solve the damn problem before anybody recognizes it as a problem.
Yeah.
You know what? Thank you, Pearl, for opening the discussion on this issue.
Yeah.
Thank you for being the first person to take it on the jaw in a big sense. And yes, I know that somebody on our Twitter has said, oh, there are other men or other people in the men's rights community you've talked about it. I've talked about it. I never spoke about these issues publicly with my face.
I've never talked about it to Piers Morgan.
Yeah. Okay. Give her that.
Yep.
She is going on. Like, there's no way for her to walk away from this at this point. I'm sorry if you're hiding behind a pseudonym
or an avatar.
You're not doing what she's doing.
No.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And she's crossed the fucking Rubicon.
Yeah, she's crossed the Rubicon. She lives or dies on this.
Yep.
And I think that's really what's bugging Roma. One, Pearl is basically saying women who are like Roma have a lesser sexual market value. And two, Pearl's willing to go there.
Yeah.
And three, she's also probably got more subs, but I don't know that for sure.
Well, we'll see. It's fun to watch. It's good to see people that are at least like talking about something related to what we talk about have the platform as large as it is. So, because it means a lot more people are going to talk about it, and maybe more qualified, better folks will come forward and also have something to say.
And maybe at the very least, we can update our collective understanding to completely nullify or revoke this idea that women were oppressed in the past because of the absolute inequality in treatment between men and women when it comes to the vote in favor of women's benefit.
Yeah.
Right? And I don't see, how can you advocate for women or men while thinking that they need to be kept in line to keep them from oppressing women?
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, we're done.
All right, so I got one more super chow, and then I think we can wrap it up. So Anonymous gave us $5. Thank you, Anonymous, so much. And
thank you very much.
Says Wrangler Star said it best. Men only need the 3 S's: sex, sandwich, silence. He's also against male genital mutilation. He called mutilation, and he's in tax himself. It would be awesome if you can get him on one of your lives with everyone, especially Hannah. I'm pretty sure they're both ANCAPs. All right, well, thank you. I will. I guess tell me how to find them, and I'll look into it. But I'm telling you, if we get Hannah and him on a show, it'll probably be 6 hours long. So I hope you're ready for that.
Or yeah, if you have a problem with long streams, you know. You're probably 6 days, for God's sake.
Yeah, it's gonna be like we're gonna do the month of. But anyway, that's all the super chats. So, and thank you guys for joining us on Rumble, Rumble Gang. I'm looking at y'all. Shout outs, and thanks for joining us there. Hopefully, I'll see you guys there. Yeah, JoJo was borking, and now somebody else is borking. Is that on Karen's end over there?
Yeah, it's on my end. Yeah,
I don't have a dog in this location, so he's not borking.
My husband went out for a walk, and the dogs are like,
why not
back.
us?
Yeah, no, they're quite offended.
I thought you were gonna die.
No, they
that's what
probably
JoJo
wanted him to take them for a walk.
Why can't I go?
Okay, so I want to thank everybody who got my first round of developmental editing funding, which should be the most expensive editing, because everything else is like the developmental edit. Yeah, that's where it's really quite expensive.
Yeah, that's like excavating the site of the new house. Everything else is just,
everything else is just sort of like
painting and finish carpentry and
Yep.
Okay.
So thank you all for helping me out with that. I will be receiving the report in about 2 weeks. Well, in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And I am very nervous about that. I also have a nervousness about that, because Roma was saying was nervous. But I really appreciate it. And we'll be, the people who are involved with the writing group in the Discord, which is at badgernation.online, if you would like to join us. We'll be discussing that at some point. And so badgernation.online if you want to join our community. Feedthebadger.com if you want to subscribe. Of course, feedthebadger.com/support if you want to support us monthly. And don't forget ongoing.
Just the tip.
Yeah, and Just the Tip. Oh, yes, that's right. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip if you want to send us a message. And we will endeavor to address that message at the next relevant show. So feedthebadger.com/justthetip. If you like our content, you just want to say, hey, this is cool. I want you to keep going with this. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip. If you hate us now because we have questioned Roma's...
We questioned your men's issues waifu.
Yes.
Challenged her. Yeah.
And it's a super chow. And we'll address it.
Yeah.
There you go. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip. All right, back to you, Brian.
Okay, so if you guys like this video, please hit like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, hit the bell for notifications, leave us a comment, let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. I have a patron-only show coming up. I'm going to do it at 8. That's 8 Eastern time, so in the next 15 minutes. Because this one went over long, but I've already set up the other one and charged you guys for it, so I kind of feel like I have to go through with it. So join us there in about 15 minutes. Thanks, guys, so much for coming on today's episode of the Teazerker, I think is what I called it, but it's basically the Rantzerker. And please share this video, because sharing is caring. All right, guys, have a good one, and I'll see you all in the next video. And so the rest of us, I guess.
Men's rights activists are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.